Installation. Let's play.
Welcome to the compound.
This is about as much effort as I'm going to put in towards not looking at you. Okay? I can't be bothered turning all the way around because then I wouldn't be able to interface with the microphone correctly and that would just be weird. And at least when I'm looking over here, I can see my cat sleeping on his cat tree. Hi, my name's Abigail. How you doing? Welcome to the Rogue Bitch Show. I'm your host. Well, it's technically not the Rogue Bitch Show. It's Mask Off. But as you can tell, I don't have any Mask Off branding whatsoever. And I don't intend to make any. So it's just going to be the title of the talking segment of my streams from now on. Mask Off. Do you know why I chose that name? 2 reasons. Let me explain it to you, because I haven't before. First and foremost, I spent the majority of my life trying to fit the role of the masculine as much as I possibly could, suppressing my innate femininity until a point where it just snapped. Secondly, mask off. We are taking off the mask and ceasing pretending like we want to care about what idiots on the internet think. Rather, I would like to distill down their very bullshit and break it down to nothing. And prove just how idiotic some people can be in this vast, hellish internetscape. How you doing? Is that a good intro? Does that surmise me? Does that summarize me well enough? What's going on? Let's take off our masks in life. Let's not. And magic. There you go. First and foremost, you should be wearing your masks. You consider buying a mask off mug. Once I figure out how I want it to look, I'll make a brand for it. I'll make an actual logo for Mask Off and we'll slap it on here somewhere. I don't know. I might make a new scene that's basically just an altered version of this scene. Like I was strongly considering the other day of changing the way that this one looks so that it has a bit more of this whole thing going on. I don't know. People have faced their camera away from the game. Did you get the whole thing? Hang on a second. Hi, my name's Abigail. How you doing? Welcome to the Rogue Bitch Show. Oh, I didn't put it up on the screen. I want you all to see it as well. I want to relive this because I didn't get to experience it myself. Hi, my name's Abigail. How you doing? Welcome to the Rogue Bitch Show. I'm your host. Hi, my name's Abigail. Hey, don't replay it. There we go. Oh, yeah. Before we go on, I just wanted to bring up that since I've been posting pictures with, I think, certain specific hashtags, or maybe just because I look cute and girly, I've been getting a bunch of this on Instagram. I've been getting these sus DMs from, like, people who I have no interest in interacting with. By the way, the sub goal is wrong. The sub goal should not be saying 2 out of 5. I don't know why Stream Labels is so bad at updating itself. It never seems to work. Anyway, for tonight's episode, second one looks like a robot. It does. But, like, I've responded to a couple of them, and they've actually tried to have conversations with me. They've tried to flirt with me legitimately. Like, they're not trying to sell me anything. I've had a few scam DMs, and I just delete those. But, like, these are actual people who are trying to get in my pants. It's hilarious. I'm getting the full girl experience. It's amazing. What was I going to say? Yeah, they want to date me. Exactly. Unless they've got fat stacks of cash, I'm not interested. Unless they've got like 3 million Instagram followers and I can see that they actually legitimately own a mansion with a Mercedes. Fuck off. Okay. Anyway, have I had any chases yet? No, I haven't. Although I can't tell, honestly, because if you go to one of my posts, and I think this one is pretty safe for Instagram, my latest post, for example, if we go to this, I don't post anything super lewd. There was one where I posted where I had my midsection exposed, and I am wearing underwear. But, like, this is one, like, as an example, this is one I recently posted, and there's the other post is, like, right here behind this, so you can't see it. But that's probably the one, or it's, like, right in the middle or something, I forget. That one's probably too lewd for Twitch. But as you can see here, like, I make it known that I'm trans. I put all the trans tags I possibly can in there. So if they're sliding in my DMs thinking I'm just another cute girl, I feel like either they are chasers or they haven't read the tags. I don't know. Which, you know, might lead to a very disastrous result if they happen to be anywhere near me on the geographical scale, which I am fucking terrified of, by the way. Terrified of being seen. Being recognized by someone who has an out for me. Transition long time ago, decided to not have the option. She gets many. She gets so many. She loves them, though. Oh, really? They're interested. You think they're interested? They might be. They may be interested. But anywhoomst. So, yeah, tonight we decided recently that, we decided as far back as Monday? I think it was Monday. That I was going to look into Jordan B. Peterson because I've always been curious about what the fuck his deal is. So we're going to look into that tonight. You had a convo with another queer friend of yours. You're pretty sure way more people are actually pan than realize they are because there's so much pressure to be hetero. Yeah, exactly. Like I said the other night, I may very well be pan. At the moment, I just don't feel attraction to anyone. Well, I do. Generally speaking, I feel attraction to women. But at the same time, it's like there's no reason to discredit the possibility that I may be pan. I just haven't found anyone else that fits my general preconceived notion of my own sexuality. So there is a lot of social pressure to just be the norm, the standard, the hetero. Like, this is the reason it took me so long to come out. Because I felt the pressure to be a straight white cis man. You know? You love Jordan Peterson. I'm very questioning on his entire situation, quite frankly. But it's a pleasure to see you again, Beta. How are you doing? I know he's got that whole clean your room thing. I could be Demi. I've never been that emotionally attached to anyone, quite frankly. That's really bad to say. There was one relationship I was in where I was in love, okay? And I mean I was in love. That was the only relationship where I actually felt there was a future and I fucked it up. So discredit that. You know, just push that over to the side. Since then, I have not felt... And since before that, even. Like, since and... Before and since, I did not feel any significant emotional romantic attachment to anyone. So, I don't think Demi is necessarily my thing. Do you think there's pressure to be anything other than cis straight these days? What do you mean? What do you mean do you think there's pressure to be anything other than cis straight? Because I think the norm, the hetero norm, heteronormativity is still a pretty big thing. But as more and more people make...
Welcome to the compound.
Uzida Goat, welcome in. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. As more and more people make, I suppose you could say, divergent sexualities and gender identities commonplace, people what's the phrase I'm looking for? People get defensive about that. They don't like seeing change. And that's why we see a lot of aggressive pushback on that kind of thing. 12 rules for life straightened you out. You said before you used to be obese. Now you own businesses and work your ass off. What's this YouTube video? Oh, I know 12 rules is Jordan's book. I know that's where the whole clean your room thing comes from, which is not necessarily bad advice. Like I do agree with the concept of like, if you have a good personal living space that's clean and neat, and mine's a fucking mess, but ignore that for a moment. My room's an absolute mess, but that's not the point. If you have a clean and neat and tidy and happy space to live in, it will definitely affect your mental health in a positive way. Let me get that out of the way right now. I think that's a good thing. But again, I've never looked into him beyond the fact that I know he is in some way a right-wing commentator. In some way. I've heard that he was left originally and then skewed right. Some say he skewed right because of the money. Like he skewed right to gain a bigger audience, which, if that's true, that worked. Obviously, everyone knows who Jordan Peterson is now. I don't know enough about him to make a judgment call. Is it bad to have normal sexuality? Well, if you're hetero, you're hetero. That's fine. I don't see what the problem is. There's nothing wrong with being heterosexual. There is something wrong with attacking people for being homosexual or pansexual or anything. There is something wrong with using your heterosexuality as a weapon against other people. If you say, well, my sexuality is the norm, yours is divergent, therefore bad, that's a negative thing. Don't do that. That's very, very simple stuff, but a lot of people get really, really upset about this. And I'm editing at the moment my next YouTube video. Hopefully will go up tonight if I am quick enough. I'm only hoping to go till about 10 tonight. I'm only going for like 4 hours. 4 hours. 4 hours. IV. We're doing the Roman numerals thing. I'm only going for about hopefully only 4 hours tonight because I want to wrap up the Isaac Butterfield video that I did on Monday, not Tuesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. We did payday. That's not the thing. Anyway, I'm rambling so much. There's so much stuff coming out of my mouth all at once. Anyway, your room's a mess, but your life isn't anymore. Well, there was that thing recently where like everyone was going on about how he was, he's the guy behind Clean Your Room and all that. And then there was a screenshot of him in like a video call, and the room behind him is an absolute fucking disaster. And we know he's been going through some shit recently. He's been dealing with a drug addiction. His daughter has him on like this all beef diet thing. I don't know what that's about, but I think that's clearly affecting his mental and physical health, because that's not a good... You should not have a strictly meat diet. That's not how your body functions. You need to get some carbohydrates in there. You need to get some vegetables in there. We are omnivores. Anyway. Excuse me. Sorry. You're playing devil's advocate here. That's bad. Don't do that. No. Do you think it's harmful to not give a fuck? The way that that's often used is by people who do give a fuck but would rather not acknowledge your sexuality or gender identity. They would rather put it out of their mind. This is the thing that happens when you have, say, social groups, social media groups, I should say, where they'll put in the rules, no politics. And what they actually mean is they don't want to cause any division by acknowledging the existence of people who are gay, who are trans. It even goes as far as race in some cases, or the discussion of women. You know, it's a very privileged viewpoint to have. I think I need to adjust the light on my ring light for a sec because my chroma key isn't working properly. There we go. Am I too bright? I mean, I was going for the goth thing today. I've got the choker back on. We've got whatever these frilly looking things are. I like these. I love these. Lighting is perfect. Thank you. They do want to be carnivores. They have a disease. Did they have a disease? Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that shortly. The diet is fucking destroying him. I mean, what I have seen of him recently, and there was the situation where he was doing an interview. I do know of this. There was a clip from him from an interview recently where he's come back now. He had a big sabbatical a little while ago. You're looking for a while, NB. Thank you for stopping by. I did see your message there about my look. Thank you so much. Sorry I missed it. Everything's happening all at once. Everything's happening all... People like me these days. What's going on? Why have I suddenly got a huge active chat as the moment I go live? It's crazy. Anyway, I like it. I love it. Keep it coming. Bring me more folks. Give me more of a following. Maybe one day I'll get to interview Jordan Peterson. Anyway, somebody was interviewing Jordan Peterson, and he said, like, she said to him, the interviewer said to him, are you still on that all meat diet? And he goes, unfortunately, yes. And he looks the most dejected he ever has in his life, I imagine. He looks so depressed by it. He looks absolutely abhorred by the fact that he has to eat a solely meat diet, which his daughter has him on. I don't know what the situation is. It's a very, very weird situation. But yeah, I know.
To have guests.
Hey, Jelly, thank you for the host. I know personally because I have done some measure. I'm not qualified, but I have done a significant amount of research, personal research, and some with regards to my prior chemistry. I did do like some chemistry and biology stuff for nursing. I didn't end up completing that, but I did do that. I know about dietary stuff, and we are not supposed to be pure carnivores. We are explicitly omnivores, and that is kind of like, if there is an issue that causes you to be unable to process plant fibers, or like, you know, there is the whole gluten-free thing, of course, as well. Like, if you can't process gluten, again, another issue there. So they don't want to be carnivores. He goes into it on a Joe Rogan podcast. Has he been on multiple, or has he only been on the one? I mean, I'm not going to sit through a whole Joe Rogan podcast, but I might bring up a Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson video if there's a recent one. You had fun with your family dinner recently where people were talking politics and it was just you explaining things until your dad asked a deliberately incisive question. Then your mum was like, no more politics tonight. I mean, that's annoying. That's frustrating. Have I seen the Logan Paul fight? You mean the Jake Paul fight? I know Logan Paul is fighting Floyd Mayweather in February. I know Jake Paul fought someone recently and won. No, I haven't seen it, but I am keenly excited for Logan Paul versus an undefeated professional boxer. 50-0. I don't get, like, let me just bring this up again. Because there's two reasons I made this sports command. One, because we're not doing the trans women in sports thing, period. Two, I absolutely, 100%, completely detest sports. I do not partake of it in any way, shape, or form. I am not a sports person. So, for me to say I'm at least mildly interested in the results, shut the fuck up, whoever you are out there revving your engine. Go fuck yourself, crash into a telegraph pole. Jesus Christ, leave me the fuck alone. Anyway, if I am at least interested in the results of that fight, because this is Floyd Mayweather. This is like the modern day Ali. This is some crazy shit, okay? You don't need, no, exactly. You don't need to bring up trans in sports just because I'm trans, but people do. There was a good tweet. Let me bring up this tweet real quick because I just retweeted it, so it should still be there recently. A tweet by a fellow Australian. Where is it? Here we go. It's this one here. Blokes won't give a shit about women's sport, but as soon as a trans woman decides to take part, they become an expert in female bone density and muscle memory. This is the thing that they always do. It's the thing that Joe Rogan does. Anyway, that's a good summation of my thoughts on it. It's like I don't want to have the discussion because people generally have a preconceived notion of exactly what they want to say, even though they don't have any actual points to make. But yeah, we're not gonna get into that because it's just a transphobic dog whistle. You love boxing, but only the big ones. You know it will auto go there. Hang on, are in the chat. What? It will auto go there the moment a sports fans are in the chat. Any male who says women are weaker are weak-minded. I mean, yes, true. There is actual physiological differences between people who were born with a testosterone-based body and people who are born with an estrogen-based body, so to speak. So it's a very complex issue, but I don't want to get into it. I don't want to discuss that whole thing. Anyway, male women, where are you mailing them to? He mentioned that when bad faith people think of trans women, they assume Hulk Hogan is lying to get into women's restrooms. That's what I mean. I'm actually terrified because there is a topic. We may get into the Jordan Peterson thing a little bit later because there is another topic I want to talk about first. That why is my chroma key being a shit cunt tonight? Stop it. Sorry to clap into the microphone. It's not going to help anything. Stop. My lighting is fucking fine, bitch. Stop it. Can you see that? You could see this, right? You can see this. Stop it. Fucking camera. Do not buy the Logitech C920. Buy something significantly more expensive that doesn't do this shit. Anyway. I'm not trying to be angry at you, I promise. There's an article by The Atlantic today that came out that I want to read. I've read most of it. I'm not going to subscribe to you. Yeah, I'm going to show you. Hang on. It's like there's a very faint outline around me, right, from the chroma key, and every so often... Oh, it might be auto exposure, actually. Yes, let's have a look. Every so often the camera is increasing that glow, and I don't want it to. How do I check? No, that's camera source. Where's camera source? I've got a scene on top of a scene on top of a scene here. Oh, excuse me. Okay, configure video. Is autofocus is on. I don't want autofocus on. Go the fuck away. I have my focus set exactly how I want it to be, you stupid fuck. Anyway, I was in the void, but now we're back. Now we're back in business. Anywho. There's this, the secret internet of turfs. Now, some of you may have... My accent is hot. Thank you, Shamo Lord. Aussie as fuck, mate. Some of you may have heard a little while back, I think it's mentioned early on in this, that the Donald subreddit and gender-critical subreddits were both banned, as well as like 2,000 other subreddits on Reddit. For those who don't know, Reddit is a website that is made up of a variety of little subsections that people can create on their own called subreddits. So it's a content aggregator with a ton of little separate communities, and some of those communities were explicitly right-wing and explicitly divisive and harmful. Now, here's the thing. I disagree with Reddit's decision to get rid of those subreddits, personally. I think having them on a platform... Yeah, we'll get into like the Mumsnet thing, and there's other ones in here as well. I personally believe that Reddit should have left those alone on their website. Yes, they were divisive. Yes, they were harmful, but they were a part of Reddit that other Redditors could easily access. And thereby, they could go there and their echo chambers would not be so concrete. This article talks about the fact that many of these same right-wing viewpoints are now locked into these echo chambers where all they're doing is cycling the same awful ideas around and around, creating more and more toxic discussion, more and more harmful discussion, and completely radicalizing these people to the point where they can't be de-radicalized because they, you know, like with Parler and Gab and all these other little right-wing outlets, anytime someone who diverges from their norm of discussion, this is the ironic part of all of this, anytime someone comes in who diverges from the discourse, gets absolutely dogpiled and shoved off the site, basically. So these are the people who go on about free speech. But the thing is, Reddit used to actually be a legitimate free speech platform and has since gone... And again, I am pretty far leftist. I'm pretty hardcore leftist. But Reddit has gone too far left-wing, and now it's not at all a free speech platform. I still do believe Twitter is, to an extent, an open free speech platform. It's just once you get into full-blown hate speech and you're actually aggressing on somebody or you're actually spreading harmful misinformation that Twitter shuts it down. But generally speaking, I've seen a lot of discussion from all sides of the political spectrum on Twitter, and it hasn't been banned, it hasn't been shut down, it hasn't been any of that. So as much as I hate Twitter, Twitter's an absolute hell site full of idiots, but there is actual political discussion going on there. To an extent. And generally speaking, 280 characters or less does lead to some people just spouting shitty garbage. But anyway, Twitter is generally a lot more fair than Reddit is. Reddit is very far left. Very far left. They do still have a lot of transphobes on the site, by the way. I will bring this up. I will bring up my recent post. I'm not going to show you because I think I'm not nude. Where is this? Here's my post that I made. Oh shit, I showed you anyway. Well, I mean, I'm wearing a bra and shorts. Anyway, the post that I was actually going to reference, though, I was showing off my abs. Nice work, ignore the haters downvoting you. And I was like, wait, there were haters. Apparently my post here got into controversial because there were a ton of people downvoting it. So there are still transphobes on the site that are lurking in the background, and in certain subreddits, they will slide in your DMs if you post anything trans-related, and they'll be trashing on you. I was like, there's a whole thing. Anyway. So, yeah, they didn't get rid of all the transphobes. But, I personally believe... Let's just get back to just chatting until I'm ready to go to the article. I personally do 100% believe that... Reddit should not have banned all those subreddits. That was a bad move and has actually significantly damaged the site, because now that discussion and that ability to tear down those negative points is not available on the website. You have to go somewhere else. And these people who are in these harmful communities, like the Donald, like Gender Critical, like etc., they've gone and formed their own little echo chambers where nobody can get in and de-radicalize them. That's a bad thing. There are certain communities that are transphobe as fuck, such as the tabletop communities on Reddit. Yeah, like there's a lot of transphobia on Reddit, whether they like it or not, whether they consider themselves left or not. There's a lot of transphobia on there. I would hope tabletop's getting better. Like there was a thing recently. You could listen to me talk for so long. Thank you. Your favorite actor is Elliot Page. Well, Elliot Page is fucking good at acting. I will say that. Elliot Page is a fucking good actor. There's been a thing recently in the tabletop and RPG space. A bit of a discussion around the fact that I think Wizards of the Coast, or whoever it is that does D&D, is working to make all of the different monster races more human, so to speak. They're trying to give them their own cultures, give them their own religions, give them their own actual personalities beyond just these kobolds are a monster and thereby it's okay to commit genocide on them. They're actually giving them more depth, which they've always had depth, but now they're trying to make them basically playable. And that's upsetting a few people because all of a sudden, oh, what do you mean I can't have an entire race of people that I can wipe out without feeling guilt? Like that's that when you realize how fucked up that is. Anyway, we'll get to Jordan Peterson in a moment. Don't worry, we'll get to Jordan in a moment. Wondering what's going to happen. Elliot's just going to continue playing the same character, and that's completely fine. Elliot can continue to play a cis woman in Umbrella Academy, and there's no reason that he shouldn't. Because I mentioned in the Ben Shapiro rant the other night, there have been, like, going back, way back to, like, the theater days, the days of stage theater, when we didn't have funny screens, women weren't allowed to act. Men would dress up as women on stage. So it's not a crazy thing for a trans man to act as a cis woman. There's not that crazy, especially when you consider that the majority of roles of trans people in Hollywood history have been played by cis people. Like, there was a joke somebody made recently about how Hollywood has just started casting for a cis man to play Elliot Page in a biopic. Like, it's a meme, obviously. It's not real. But that would absolutely happen. That's the thing, that would absolutely happen. And yeah, the character and the actor-actress is different. There's no reason to get worked up over it. There's no expectation that, a trans person can't play a cis person. It reminds me vaguely of Laverne Cox, who was in Orange is the New Black, who is an actual trans person, who's a trans woman. And she has a twin brother. And in Orange is the New Black, during a flashback sequence, her twin brother played her pre-transition, which is kind of crazy and cool. Like, that was an awesome that's incredible. Don't mean that it's weird or anything. Just been coming out as trans and putting yourself out there as female. Yeah, it probably would be mentally taxing, but I mean, that could just speak to Elliot's psychological fortitude, I suppose. It is not horny time. It is never horny time. I do not possess the horny gene. Anyway, yeah, mentally taxing. It potentially could be, but like any job, realistically, even acting would be mentally taxing. Can we take a sabbatical for a second? My goodness. After they were banned from Reddit, trans exclusionary radical feminists became the latest of many toxic communities to simply build their own platform. Do you guys know of... do you know Gab? Do you know what Gab is? Gab is, if I'm not mistaken, the social media platform created by Graham... Dipshit. Is it? Is this what... No, maybe not. Maybe he just promoted it. Or did he promote Parler? I can't remember. Right-wing Twitter clone, yeah. What was his name? Graham Linehan, who was a script writer on Father Ted and the It Crowd, right? And he's come out as a massive transphobe in recent years, to the point where he actually went on Mumsnet and made a post on there, and everyone was weirded out by the fact that he was there. He joined it and bought his following, yeah. So he didn't create it, but he was involved in promoting it, I think. At any rate, there's Gab, which is a right-wing Twitter clone, and again, it's the situation of like there are a couple of right-wing Twitter clones now. There's Gab, there's Parler, and they advertise themselves as this free speech platform, but the reality of the situation is if you post anything left-leaning on there, you get dogpiled. So it's almost the inverse of Twitter, because generally speaking, even though I do see a lot of both sides, there is a lot of dogpiling on Twitter as well. Don't get me wrong. People get ratioed like fuck. So the new season for Big Mouth, I heard about that. I heard it was a good representation too. Anyway. I saw Samantha Lux's video on my homepage. I'll have to give it a watch. But I'm not going to watch the show. I will watch Samantha Lux's video on it. I will refuse to watch that fuck-awful looking show. It looks... I cannot abide that art style. I am sorry to the animators who work on that show, but your art style is fucking dog shit. Period. I would rather watch... There are kids' cartoons where all of the animation is done to look like a child drew it. I'd prefer to watch that than watch Big Mouth, because that art style just disgusts me to my core. I'm sorry. It is aesthetically unappealing. Anyway, Gab switched its software infrastructure to a fork of Mastodon. What's the situation with Mastodon? I've got an account on there. I don't really use it much. I don't have to like it. No, I'm just going to trash on the art style. Big Mouth's art style. I fucking hate it. For that reason, I won't watch the show, because I just can't... I would rather stab my eyeballs. Decentralized. What does that mean? Is it like blockchain-based, or what is it? Maybe I could just listen to Big Mouth. I'll put a blindfold on. Thoughts on Hot Topic. What Hot Topic do? Oh, I didn't do the offline screen yet. No, I'm going to do that over the weekend. At the moment, my offline screen is the same as it was before, so I need to fix that. I've got an idea for another scene too, and another idea that I want to do. What did Hot Topic do? Have they done anything recently? Hot Topic drama? Is there any drama? Is there any controversy? Any recent controversies? No? I probably watched a bit of... I did used to watch... Not Arthur. I mean, I did watch Arthur, which has been going for like about as long as the fucking Simpsons. Arnold. That was Nickelodeon, wasn't it? And the Angry Beavers, I think. Were they Nickelodeon? Cat Dog? There were a few shows I watched where, they had dodgy art styles for sure. Means you can run your own server and connect to the bigger network. Occasionally problematic says, oh, that's right. Yeah, I've read about this. Yeah. My friend, Welsh Pixie, got me into it. And I haven't used it since. I've got too many social medias going on. I need to just chill a little bit. Anyway, maybe one of these days I'll start uploading on Storyfire as well, because I said I was going to do that, even though as far as I know, that's another alt-right attempt to take over YouTube or something. Rocco, I remember watching Rocco. Ren and Stimpy I never watched. I did watch Rugrats. Anywho, trying to get your 11k Twitter back. What happened to it? Why did it go away? Well, do you have any idea? Is there any inclination as to what happened to that? I promise we will get into actual discussion that is focused and driven in a moment. And during that segment, once we actually get into the actual legitimate segment of whatever we're talking about, I will try to hyper-focus on what we are discussing. My cat just knocked... I need to sort out the situation with my desk and all that, because my cat, whenever he jumps off his little side table, he knocks my whole desk around, which is a trestle table, which is not good. I need to replace it. Also, completely irrelevant to anything, my mouse pad here, this thing, it's got you can see how it lights up and changes colors. It's dying. Like if you get towards the outer edges, the light's just fading completely. And I'm so sad, because this is not a cheap mouse pad. And I want to get a new one, because like it's just... I like the lights. And now my lights are broken. Tried to verify your number, but couldn't. They have said it's not replied to any emails. That's annoying. That is fucking frustrating. I'm not sure what you could do there, honestly. Poor lights. I've had it for about almost 2 years now. Do I like Us? What's Us? Like the TV show? Or the movie? Was it a movie? Or do you mean, do I like you people? Because no. Shall we read about the secret internet of TERFs? Yes, of course I like you. My God. Yes, I hate you. Absolutely. Yeah, you disgust me. Everyone disgusts me. The internet is a hellhole and we should all just stop using it. Return to monkey. I am a proponent of return to monkey. Do you like my pigtails? By the way, I've been doing pigtails. I did them with scrunchies yesterday, but I've got handlebars. Anyway, go back to cave. Tonight we're going to start up a new playthrough of Far Cry Primal. Alright, shall we finally get to see your man after you? Well, there you go, that's good. Also the makeup. What do you think of the makeup? I have to get some ego boost before we start reading. Makeup is fire today, thank you. I tried to go a little bit darker, tried to go a little bit more goth. So I think it worked, generally speaking. But my makeup, if you get too close to it, it does look a bit messy. My wings. I like my wings. I think my eyeliner is shit, though, unfortunately. The eyeliner I use is shit. So it doesn't come out very good. It's like an $8 eyeliner. I need to get a new one that's actually legitimately good. You were so bad at makeup and taught yourself how to do it. You know how I taught you to do it. Know who taught you how to do it? Nikki. Yeah, Nikki Tutorials, who came out as trans, yes. Which was crazy because, like, you know, she came out as trans after being stealth for so long, which is kind of cool. Thoughts on the gothy heart necklace? My choker. It's a choker. I want to get more. Choke me, daddy. I don't like being choked, by the way. I want to get more chokers. I want to get one that's just like a legitimate, just leather, just like a full leather thing. She says over the top. Yeah, she does. I watched her video on how to do a trans feminizing makeup, and at the end of it, it was just like, I'm sorry, that's basically clown face. It was just far too much, like way too much. It was obscene. It was far too much saturation. I don't know. It's like she just put big splotches of makeup everywhere, and it looked absurd. And I suppose the idea would be, stop it. It's overexposing. Anyway, shall we read? Shall we begin? I'm going to do a stream marker. Hang on, let me get my Stream Deck app open for a second. Let me open up my Stream Deck app. Because I want to take my stream marker thing, I'm going to copy that and paste it over onto this scene. Paste, there we go, okay. That's in the right spot, good. Okay, I am going... Makeup is just artistic face paint, it is. Okay, click here to be taken to the official Rogue Bitch Discord server. You should do that. I am going to upgrade it soon, and like my panels, I haven't done my panels yet. Don't worry, everything will be consistently pixel art soon, I promise. Anyway, stream marker, hit that shit. Now I can hit record, because I haven't been recording this whole thing, so if there's anything good from that previous segment, sorry, it's not going on the YouTube channel. We are now recording. Let's go. Let's hope it's not a 34 gigabyte video that ends up with me making a 28-minute YouTube video. Jesus Christ. Did you guys watch my latest YouTube video? 28 fucking minutes. Why did I do that? Anyway, the secret internet of TERFs. Okay, this is an article by Caitlin Tiffany for The Atlantic. After they were banned from Reddit, trans exclusionary radical feminists became the latest of many toxic communities to simply build their own platform. So if you've not heard about this, we have been talking about it a little bit. We've been talking a little bit about this already. We'll do this first, then we'll do Jordan Peterson. Mary Kate Fain, 27-year-old engineer and writer living in Houston, has always considered herself a feminist. That's a bad sign. I hate the term feminist. I have come to hate the term feminist because it means so many different things. You can never tell what someone considers themselves. You never tell what someone's consideration of what feminism is because it's so wildly all over the place. Anyway, growing up, she told me she had a pretty standard set of progressive values. Her primary focus was animal rights and her feminism was reflexive, mainstream. In college, however, her ideas about feminism shifted. After volunteering in a domestic violence shelter and experiencing an abusive relationship, she committed to some of the radical feminist ideology. God, I can't speak tonight. Often affiliated with the second wave icon Andrea Dworkin, which is focused on the roots and prevalence of male violence. Eventually her beliefs radicalized further. She became convinced that trans women are men and trans rights activism is just another weapon of the patriarchy. So here we go. So that's not a good thing. So she hates men with a power. Oh yeah, Clementine Ford, yeah. And Clementine Ford is an ultimate man-hater. And I wouldn't be surprised if she was a TERF. I don't think she's spoken out on anything. Let's have a look. Is Clementine Ford a TERF? Is she a TERF? Is she a TERF? Oh my god, there's a whole thread here. I don't know what this is. Amazing that politically conservative transphobes bang on about beautiful, unique womanhood being defined by periods and pregnancy so they can refuse status. Oh my god! Tell cis women to shut about this because special. So what is she saying here? Politically conservative transphobes bang on about beautiful, unique womanhood being defined by periods and pregnancy so they can refuse status to trans women, yet in all other instances tell cis women to... She's not a TERF. Unless I'm reading this incorrectly, Clementine Ford supports trans women. There you go. At the very least, she's being supportive. Clementine Ford says trans rights. Holy shit. I was not expecting that. I mean, that was back in October. Her views could have changed in the past, like, what would that be, 14 months? Possible. There you go. You learn something new every day. Like many, Fane's political transformation was helped along by the internet. Though she's never had much use for social media before, on Reddit she found a forum with tens of thousands of members, predominantly women, were devoted to the insistence that trans women are not women. I first found the community while I was still looking for answers. Fane said these women were asking the same questions that she was, going through the same uncomfortable situations with their friends, feeling the same moment of disenchantment. They had experienced the same guilt over breaking with their communities, and now they had one another. Breaking with their communities because they had developed a disdain for a minority. Think about, like, we always bang on about how bad it is to be anti-minority, right? And it's usually referred to in a racial sense, you know. Usually when we're talking about how people who hate minorities, what they generally mean is racial minorities, and they don't consider trans people in that group. I think it's becoming more and more obvious that people do include that, you know. Core belief of TERF is that men supposedly transition to infiltrate the feminist community, and then the opposite is true as well. Like, people believe that, like with the Elliot Page thing recently, they believe that women transition to men, or, you know, women in quotes, transition to become men, to become a part of the patriarchy, to become a part of the system of oppression and get away from the oppression that, say, being a lesbian entails and so forth. So there's that whole thing too. It's a whole ordeal. Among other online feminists, the common name for this group Fane found is trans-exclusionary radical feminists. A lot of people have speculated recently, or TERFs, obviously. A lot of people have been saying that the term feminist is misleading. We shouldn't call them... Well, I mean, TERF has become such a part of the... discourse now that it'd be difficult to exclude it. We've tried a few other terms. Fart is a particular favorite. Feminism appropriating radical transphobe or reactionary transphobe is a is a favorite of mine. The name the community has chosen for itself is the somewhat more palatable gender critical. There's a good video by ContraPoints on that very topic. As other feminists often point out, that name means nothing. All feminism is critical of gender. I mean, gender itself is a very weird topic that does need to be deduced a lot more. So yeah, that means nothing. Gender critical means literally nothing. TERFs constitute a minority of feminists. They're a loud minority. They do not shut the fuck up. Again, like, they keep talking and they keep trying to dominate the online discourse, and the more they do this, more people get radicalized by their ideas. However, it's, you know, as this article will eventually get into, because they no longer have their subreddit, they've gone to their own little echo chambers, which would be arguably more difficult to find, I suppose. It makes it harder for them to get the word out, which is good. Nevertheless, this tiny group has attracted a disproportionate amount of attention in the past several years. It feels like, generally speaking, even though TERFs are really bad, obviously, it feels like the majority of the time, discussion around TERFs is trashing on them, which is good. We like that. Anti-trans feminists have a presence in many mainstream online spaces, including Twitter, Radfem, Tumblr. Is Tumblr still around? What's Tumblr doing these days? And the Black Women's Beauty Forum, Lipstick Alley, and the British Parenting Forum. There's Mumsnet. I haven't actually looked at Mumsnet. One must out-radicalize people with your ideas than their ideas. I suppose so, yes. On these sites and many others, they use many of the same trolling tactics as other internet-based fringe political movements to disrupt conversation, skew reality. That's always a big thing. Is like they often use arguments that are either based very, very fringe in reality, like the bathrooms thing, you know. Macho Man Randy Savage is going to go into a bathroom and say, I'm a woman, and then assault and rape everyone. Like, they make up these things, these scenarios in their heads that never actually occur in real life. Or if they have occurred, they've happened one time. And this, again, goes back to that whole trans sports thing. It's such a minority of a minority issue. It happened very infrequently, but they want that to be the focus. Or like, you get down to it here. Have used social media to call out specific trans people who use women's bathrooms, for instance, labeling them predators and pedophiles, and promising them this is what fucking scares me, and this had me terrified today, because I was out in public and I was like, I need to use the bathroom. Fortunately, I wasn't out for very long, and I was able to get to my own bathroom, but promising to resist them by any means necessary, be it pepper spray or pistol. Now, I don't know the legality of pepper spray in Australia. I know they can't get pistols here in Australia, but the thing that has me terrified personally, as a transgender person, the thing that has me terrified personally is the idea that I could look at any other woman and they could be a TERF carrying pepper spray, and if I go into a public restroom and I have an interaction with them, they could spray me in the face with pepper spray. Now, of course, it's unlikely I'm going to get gunned down. That's very, very unlikely, because we don't have guns in Australia, or we do, but we're not legally allowed to own them in the same capacity as Americans are. But yeah, I am actually legitimately worried, not only of... What the fuck? I think I just wiped makeup off on my nail. Great, awesome. That's cool. We're off to a good start. Yeah, I'm worried of, the idea that some of these women might exist in my social environment, in my local environment. So I could be under threat from women, and I'm also fearful that I might be under threat from men who, might see me as a cross-dressing freak and beat me because they think I'm a man who's a sissy boy. It's like, I'm fucking scared, dude. Like, I feel like I can't trust anyone aside from people in my immediate social circle who I know are supportive. That's fucking terrifying. That is so scary, dude. And I go out and I'm out in public making money doing things. I'm out in the open dressing the way that I prefer to dress, making myself known to the world, and I am scared that there are people out there who are actually going to pepper spray me or punch me or something, anything. If any of that happens, you can bet I'm going to live tweet that shit because I'm an attention whore. But anyway, it's fucking scary out there being a trans person. GLAAD has shown that these attacks have warped online discourse, turning focus away from discrimination and instead encouraging renewed debate about trans women's bodies. Fain insists that her views are utterly mainstream and common sense. She denied that members of her community engage in doxing, harassment, or threats. Well, we know that's a fucking lie. There's a tweet today. Let me find it quickly before I lose my place here. Casey Explosion has an E in it. Casey Explosion made a... Oh, here we go. Folks do not argue with TERFs. They engage in mass reporting, and once they bait you, they will link your tweets to one of their mass reporting groups to get you suspended. There are private Facebook or WhatsApp groups, group DMs, etc., dedicated to malicious mass reporting. So TERFs will absolutely, at least in an online sense, dox you. They will try to get you banned online for existing. Rightio, Kez. Sounds good. So yeah, that's a scary thing. That is a scary thing to worry about. Okay, for years, Gender Critical, the group Fain joined, was the internet's largest and most recognizable... Am I targeting your people again? What's your people, Magic? What does that mean? I feel like I've been baited into something here. Gender Critical, the group Fain joined, was the internet's largest and most recognizable anti-trans space, known on Reddit as a major pipeline into TERF ideology. Yep, that's the... They got you suspended. Oh, that would be it. Did you argue with TERFs and they got you suspended? Oh, God. Changed in June when Gender Critical disappeared from Reddit. The cataclysmic events of 2020 had pushed all major social media platforms into content moderation crisis mode, compelling them to adopt... Well, I mean, yeah. I believe this was either a result of... This was a result of Black Lives Matter, I believe. Does that come into this? Yeah, down here. New dedication to removing misinformation and hate speech, adding friction to prevent harassment and viral conspiracy theories. Reddit responded to pressure from its users in the midst of the Black Lives Matter protests by introducing an overhauled content policy that contains specific rules about hate speech. Its implementation resulted in an automatic ban for gender critical, no warning, the notorious pro-Trump forum, The Donald, was removed the same day, along with around 2,000 other forums. It's almost like toxic and skewer men feel resentful of anyone they perceive as being secure who does not present or try to present as masculine. That is exactly what it is. That is 100% what it is. How evil being a boy. I didn't like it, so I was just like, I'm going to be a girl. Yeah. You fought with a furry once and they called you a transphobe. They sent 20 of them to report you. What the fuck? Fought with a furry ever? Don't fight with furries online. Anyway. They always try to pull the transphobe card. So yeah, again, coming back to this point that I was making before we started recording, I think this was a bad idea. I get why they did it. I know why they did it. But Reddit doing this was a terrible, terrible idea. And it's going to come into this a little bit later in the article. I didn't read the whole thing, but I have read a fair bit of it already. Yeah, like, Reddit is done pretending the Donald is fine. It's not. Like, the Donald and gender critical and spaces like that were not fine on Reddit. But the problem was, or rather the good thing about Reddit is that they had those spaces on the site where everyone else could easily find them. You know? It's a bad thing when far-right, alt-right, gender critical, the Donald, etc., all these ideologies get to the front page, which was a thing that would happen routinely. You know, if you weren't logged in, you would sometimes see the Donald posts on your front page if you were not subscribed to it. But it was good that it was there because then other people could go in and de-radicalize other people. They could go in, they could argue with them and say, look, your viewpoints are harmful, your viewpoints are negative, the things that you are saying are based in falsehoods and they're not realistic, etc., etc. So having those spaces on Reddit, while it was a bad idea to have them there in the first place, was also a good idea for freedom of speech because Reddit's a huge platform with millions of users. Lots and lots of people use Reddit, or at least lots of people used to use Reddit. It feels like it's slowly dying these days. I don't know. I'm not really all that inspired to go there these days. Reddit's become a bit of a trash heap. But those things being available to access on Reddit by the majority of people was a good thing for discourse, was a good thing for de-radicalization. So them getting rid of it all, I understand why they did it. It was probably a stakeholder, probably a stockholder situation. It's like, oh, there's a lot of hate speech going on Reddit. We're going to pull investment money if you don't get rid of the hate speech stuff. That's probably what was going on. It was honestly most likely a virtue signal at its core. But again, yeah, I believe Reddit should have kept those communities on there for the sake of de-radicalization, for the sake of saving people from harmful ideologies. And now Reddit is as far left as it can possibly get. Aside from the transphobes. All over the site. Guys, you have a transphobe termite problem. Fix that shit. Why is it that all furries are radical? Like, they are either radical allies / trans or they are radical Nazis. You've never met them. That is true. What is the deal with the furries? They are all radical. I don't understand this. All the furries are, either radical allies or trans or radical Nazis. And femboys. Why are femboys Nazis? What's going on with that? Why are all the femboys racists? I don't get it. I'm not, because I'm just a trans woman. I am not a femboy. Don't call me that. Same that called you a transphobe for tweeting you like everyone. Met a group of furries who called every cis person evil. It's totally transphobic. The term femboy is transphobic? Because I believe there are actual cis men or cis boys who just prefer to dress feminine who identify as femboys. Oh, about the furries. I was going to say that's a thing. That is a thing. Anyway, Fein framed the ban flatly as persecution. It's not. It's not persecution. If nothing else, it was protecting people from hate speech. But again, I disagree with them doing it in the first place. They use the label hate speech to silence any speech they don't want. And then you go off to your echo chambers and you spew your hate speech back and forth at one another. And if, in the rare instance, somebody with a differing viewpoint comes in, you dogpile them and chase them off the site anyway. This is the kind of... they are projecting so fucking hard with this shit. They project so fucking hard with this shit. It's crazy. Radical feminism does not come from a place of hate, bullshit, nor anything even remotely near it. Radical feminism comes from a place of love for women and girls, at the cost of hatred of trans women and girls. Okay? It's bullshit. That's what it is. It's bullshit. Almost immediately, she joined a core group of gender-critical members in an effort to rebuild what they lost. In about a month, they came up with Over It. I fucking hate this name. I fucking hate the name Over It. O-V-A-R-I-T. So they are over it, and they're using the word ovary as a pun. I fucking loathe this shit. Take them away. Okay? Just no. Put them over there. Leave them in their echo chambers far away from me so I don't have to see their shitty puns. They could just stay in their echo chambers. Lock the door. Just leave us alone. We don't deserve this shit. Over it. Oh my god. I'm gonna pull my eyes out of my sockets in a minute. Invite. Look at this. Invite only. It's invite only. They use the label hate speech to silence any speech they don't want, and then they go and make a platform that doesn't allow you to join unless you fall in line with what they think. What is that if not exclusionary as all fuck? Like, come on, dude. Are you serious? Do they know? So projecting is when somebody says they're ugly because it says you're ugly because they believe themselves are ugly. Pretty much. Like projection is when you are so insecure about something you know you possess, and then okay, I've got an edgelord cunt sock in Discord. What are we doing now? What's going on? Oh my god. Can we delete that? How do we delete that? How do we delete that? I don't even know. Discord doesn't have good moderation. Can we just say that right now? Discord does not have good moderation tools. How can I ban that person? How do I ban that person? It doesn't allow you to. Like, Discord does not... There we go. There you go. Go away. Maybe they fixed it. Did that get rid of it? I think they got rid of it. No, it didn't get rid of it. Who are you? Ban? Okay. That got rid of him. There we go. I shouldn't have to do this shit while I'm here. Anyway. I shouldn't... Like, I need more moderators. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I need more moderators. Anyway. If anyone wants to moderate my Discord, please, feel free. Gives you the option to... I think I just deleted all their posts. I just banned them outright. You know, fuck it, whatever. Anyway, let's get back to this. Would have done it. I'll give you power. Because, I mean, this is... Can I just rant a little bit? You know, I've mentioned in the past several times, I need more mods, you know? And it's like, I want to make this person regulars moderators. You know, I just want people to be... If there are people who I see all the time in my chat or all the time in my Discord, I'm like, I want to give you mod powers, right? Some of you. You know, there are some who I look at and I say, you're responsible enough to be a moderator, right? I think that. Some of you. Not trying to be mean, but some of you I'm just like, I don't want you to be a moderator. Anyway, I have offered this to several people and they say they don't want the responsibility. And I'm like, dude, it's just if you're here and you see bad shit happening, fuck it off. That's the entirety of the situation here. There's no responsibility. I'm not expecting you to be here on a work schedule. Anyway, shall we go back to TERFs? Because we love TERFs. Anyway. Yeah, you're happy to do it, no guarantee. Have you missed Balthazar? No, we haven't got to Peterson yet. We haven't got to Jordan Balthazar Peterson yet. Oh, God, that was a good one. You can clip that, please. Anyway, they've transferred over archive threads that were preserved before the ban and started inviting women one by one to a more secluded space. So yeah, as we were saying before, let's just recap. When Gender Critical was banned from Reddit, they complained that they used the label hate speech to silence speech they don't want. They were complaining that Reddit and Twitter and probably Facebook and other social media sites are they use the label hate speech to silence speech they don't want. They always go on about silencing, right? They always go on about silencing, and this is where the projection thing comes in. The members of Gender Critical created a new invite-only Reddit-inspired platform. So invite-only. You can only get in if you agree with their viewpoints. You can only get in if they know you are in line with their viewpoints, right? Okay? So, essentially, on their platform, they are silencing any dissenting speech by not allowing it to happen on their platform. Do you get what I mean? That's what projection is. The right wing continually, like this is definitely, these are right wing people, by far. The right wing loves to go on about this idea that the left is trying to silence freedom of speech, trying to silence everyone else. The projection comes from the fact that the right absolutely wants to shut down any leftist discussion. And they are inherently regressive, and if all things went according to plan, the right would resurrect Nazi Germany. That's what we're talking about. That's the projection. Any time that the right is going on about suppressing our speech, they're silencing us, all that sort of shit, they are the kind of people who are already doing that. See what I mean?
It appears we have intruders.
Hey, Space Jew.
Shall I activate the turret?
Space Raid.
Man.
Hey, Senpai. Hello, Raiders. What's going on? My name is Rogue Bitch. Or Abby. You can call me Abby. What's up, Raiders? How you doing? We are discussing things. We are talking leftist politics and eventually gaming news. There is some cyberpunk stuff I want to talk about. How yous going? Yeah, well, gun them down with the turrets, please. You know, just be nice. How's it going? We're talking about TERFs at the moment. We're talking about trans-exclusionary radical feminists. What were you doing? What was your stream about, June? How was it going? What would you get up to? Can I give you a shout-out? Were you playing Phasmo? I like Phasmo. Phasmo's good. Hey! Continuing the gift sub from Ren. Thank you, Senpai. Thank you so much. Martin, you don't need to bring that up every time someone new shows up. Anyway, I love a bit of Phasmo. I want to play it again. I want to play some more of it. I've only played like 4 or 5 hours of it, and I've loved what I've played of it. Did you catch some ghosts? Have you played the new jail level, the new prison level? That one looks cool as fuck.
You are now one of us.
And hey, June gets a tier 1 sub too. Oh, hey. We can hang out in the sub lounge. Check us out. All you need is to get 1 subscription, and we're in the sub lounge. Check it out. We got fruit over there. I think that's Moscato. I don't know. Anyway, this is as good as it gets. Subscriber bonus, a different scene. Anyways, I did all this pixel art myself. I'm just going to gloat about that for a moment. Motherfucker, I lost my headband. I keep doing that! I keep losing my headband. We could play ghost hunting, hopefully. Hopefully soon, I would like to. I want to do some Phasmo soon. I've been missing it. Because, lately I've been on a horror kick when it comes to my own games. My transitions are awesome, thank you. Hey, Stormy, thank you for the tier 1. Oh my gosh, we hit a hype train. Wow, I just realized I've changed the color of my my stream thing. And it's got the hype train thing going on. And it's got like that pinky looking color. That's kind of cool. I like that. I changed it because it was like the default Twitch purple before, and that's not interesting. Also, before we get back to leftist politic bullshit, we're going to talk about Jordan B. Peterson soon as well. I'm the leftist talking about politics. Anyway, before we get back to that, I did have an idea for my stream thing that I'm going to fiddle around with. Because if you've been paying any attention to my channel rewards, I'll just throw this one up there as an example. You can do this. And thank you for the follow, Space June. Sorry to sub and leave. You got to hop to a meeting. Sounds good. You can do stuff like this, or there's a black and white, or there's an inverted version, or whatever. You can do this sort of thing with the channel points, right? I have decided that I might do something very similar to this with my... Let me think for a second. Well, there you go. High contrast. I'll wait till this one runs out. But you know how my whole theme is purple at the moment, right? I had this idea sort of semi-inspired by the fact that you could change your overlays in Tony Hawk's Underground to a variety of different styles. So you could change your trick special meter and your menu theme and all that to a bunch of different styles. I was considering doing something similar where the viewer, could redeem a color change for my entire overlay for every scene. Hopefully. If I have the processes correct in my head... I should be able to set it up so that I can change it so every single scene that I swap to will match the color scheme that it's been changed to. Fingers crossed. I'm going to try to sort that out over the weekend. We'll start with some basic ones like a red, a blue, a green, or whatever. And it should work. If I've done this correctly in my head, it should work. Anyway, we got a 94% hype train for the next 3 minutes. If you guys want to throw another sub, we can continue hype training like crazy. Anyway, here's this high contrast version. Oh my god! We need a trans filter redeem. I was going to do that too. Trans filter color scheme. This is absurd. Oh my gosh. Should we continue reading? Anyway, for anyone who missed it, I am a Just Chatting streamer largely. I do tend to do a little bit of gaming, but for the majority of the time, I've been doing Just Chatting and mostly been political stuff lately. Mostly political, gaming news, and whatever the heck I want, really. Cass, thank you for the sub. Enjoy the sub lounge, which we can't go back to until this runs out. I mean, we can, but watch what happens. Like, go to the sub lounge. This is not high contrast, as you can see. But in a minute, because I'll try to explain this, what I've done for my color switching things, and give sub to Romantic Avocado. Thank you. We've probably hit the sub goal for today, honestly. Thank you, Senpai. Thank you so much. Watch what will happen. This will probably, in a minute, automatically swap back to the Just Chatting article in a second. There it goes. And now it's back on this scene for some reason. It's on, there we go. No, that's wrong. This one. There we go. I'll try to explain how that works for a moment. We'll do a little bit of technical bullshit. So let me, actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just bring it up over here. I just want to explain how I do the color changes. Because I've got, over here, I've got these, the 5 different options you can choose from. If you go into these, it's really basic. I have got a scene set up in OBS that's just the game scene. So it's only for this scene right here, where I'm over in the corner and whatever's on my screen, whether it be a game, whether it be anything else, over there, this entire scene gets filtered because there's a copy of the scene that has a filter over it that it swaps to for 1 minute and then it swaps back to the regular scene. Ideally, that's how it's supposed to work. So it's silly. It's not really that big of a deal, but there you go. YouTube. Let's look at my YouTube channel. That's a good idea. Oh, I haven't updated this in ages. That's like my 3rd or 4th most recent. No, that's so long ago. I need to update my main video on my channel. Here's my YouTube channel. The stuff that you're seeing here right now is going to get up on the YouTube channel. Probably not this bit, but anyway. Let's go back to TERFs and the Donald. What is that? What is the actual article called? The Future of Reddit's Banned Groups. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the secret internet of TERFs. So the article's got 2 different titles, but I suppose it's talking about 2 separate issues, or 2 separate but related groups on the internet. So for those of you who are not caught up, what we were talking about is the fact that Reddit, as far back as June, shut down a whole bunch of far-right subreddits that were promoting hate speech, places like the Donald, places like Gender Critical, and they spread out to the internet to create their own little echo chambers, basically. And that's what we're reading about right now. We're reading about a TERF who was radicalized by all of this nonsense. So where were we? We were up to here, I think. Yeah, they transferred over archive threads, freed from the constraints of a major platform. So they made their own little invite-only Reddit-inspired platform to continue their discussion. And I was talking about before how the idea that Reddit had these awful places on it, like the Donald, like Gender Critical, was a good thing for actual free speech and discussion, because you would have people going in there and saying bad things and being radicalized into bad ideologies, but other people on the site could go to those places and argue with them and de-radicalize them, ideally. They could bring them down from this viewpoint that was so extreme as to be harmful. But yeah, let me see here. The site was not built just as a safe space to protect themselves and carry on as before. Again, we're talking about the projection thing. They were, they go on about how Reddit was using the label hate speech to silence speech they don't want, but then these people go off and make their own invite-only platforms where no one can get in unless they know you agree with them. TERFs are far from the only banned communities that have taken matters into their own hands this way. For years, the conversation about online moderation has been about pressing major social media companies to take responsibility for what happens on their platforms. But now that these companies are finally doing so, reactionary alternative platforms such as Overit are popping up like mushrooms. Many of the exiled groups behind them have little in the way of shared ideology or politics, but they do share a fixation on the way they've been persecuted. And they raise a whole new set of questions about how to break down the internet's structural penchant for hate. Now here we go, echo chambers. I've been saying this a lot. Let's zoom in a little bit, because I just realized it's really small. You probably can't read it. I've been saying echo chambers all night. Where are we? Here we go. Generally refers to self-created silos on websites that are enormous. On Facebook, you can find yourself in a right-wing or left-wing bubble, but the other side is there, engaging with the same algorithmically accelerated trends, occasionally getting fired up, oh my god, I can't speak, fired up enough to jump into a fruitless debate. Now, though, there are early signs that the bubbles are moving even further apart. Pundits and politicians on the right have been threatening to migrate en masse away from big tech platforms they view as censorial and set up a shop on a free speech site such as Parler and Gab. There was a debacle around Parler recently. I can't remember exactly what it was. Thank you so much for the hype train, guys, by the way. That was awesome. I love you all. Oh my gosh and goodness. There was a debacle around Parler recently. Let me think. Was it social security number? Yeah, there was a whole thing. Mass migration of users to Parler prompts concerns over security and disinformation. No, that's not it. Parler wasn't hacked, but it's probably not safe to use it. Go away. That doesn't mean it's safe to use. Twitter lit up with claims that Parler, a social media platform surging in popularity among Trump supporters, especially since the election, was hacked. Parler's CEO did damage control today, strongly denying the claim, but the rumors continue circulating online. There was a rumor. What was it? The rumor originated in a now deleted tweet. What was it? What's this? Get rid of that one. From conceptual artist Kevin Abosh. Used tweets as... Okay, so it was an art project, was it? Let me think. The rumor was that, as far as I know, Parler was requiring you to sign up with your social security number, and as a result, the information got leaked. I guess it wasn't true. Doesn't mean it's safe to use, though. I'm not going to read that one. No, we're not going to get completely distracted from the topic we're on right now. Activists on the left who have their own disdain for big tech have long been at the forefront of the push for decentralized social networks such as Mastodon. I mean, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Meanwhile, getting banned from a social media platform and creating a knockoff of it is effectively a rite of passage for toxic groups at this point. That's what I've noticed too. They'll go on and on about how they're being suppressed, about how their free speech is being suppressed, and they'll go make their own platform where they suppress your free speech. All kinds of these groups have created their own independent havens. When Reddit started moderating The Donald, which had nearly 800,000 members, they created thedonald.win. I've been on there. I have been on there, and it's a weird place. It's a very weird place, The Donald. No, that's not right. Why does that say... Hang on. Why does that take you to Financial Times? The fuck? Subscribe to the FT to read Far Right Finds New Home online in thedonald.win. I don't have the time for that shit. $39 for... Fuck off. The notoriously violent incel community. Oh yeah, incels. Again... Like, keeping the incels on Reddit in a place where they can be easily located allows you to go there and say, hey, listen, your viewpoints are psychotic and you need to calm down. But Reddit was just like, no, we'd rather just completely shut them up. You know, hey, Hellbender, how you doing? Moved on to a hate side of its own. The men's right activists in the Red Pill weren't banned. Wait, really? Hang on. Seriously? Are you sure? Wow, the Red Pill still exists. I thought the Red Pill did get banned. Are you sure you want to view this community? It's quarantined. It's dedicated to shocking or highly offensive content. They still exist. Wait, it says 0 members and 0 online. Reddit tried to stop the spread of hateful material. Users turned to self-moderating platforms, an even more dangerous place. These self-righteous clowns believe themselves God, should have a say over what you think and say. What the fuck? I didn't realize the Red Pill still existed. Oh my god, they're still going. Like, they're not really doing much, though. 23, 54, 135. Ooh, scary. This is crazy. I legitimately believe the Red Pill got caught up in this whole shit. They didn't. That's amazing. Rough Night. Oh, that's no good, Hellbender. Why is that? Carolyn Petit from Feminist Frequency penned a really well thought out review of Cyberpunk 2077 for Polygon. I'll have to give that a look. We are going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077, but I want to talk more about the controversial marketing and stuff like that. Only quarantined, which means the group doesn't show up in Reddit search, but they made a new site as well, of course they did. Fane, who's now an icon in the online TERF community, has made a whole constellation of radical feminist platforms. Why have you made more than one? Why do you need more than one radicalized TERF community? Why do you need a single one of them, let alone multiple? Anyway, we are going to do JBP tonight. We are going to get to Jordan B. Peterson. I don't know where to start, though. That's the thing. I'm not quite sure where to start. She created the blogging platform 4W after she was banned from Medium. She created Spinster XYZ, which she says has about 14,000 users, as an alternative to Twitter in response to the many radical feminists who are being silenced or banned. Here's the thing, though. Like, if I feel like I may be wrong. I mean, I may be wrong, but I feel like if Twitter is banning you or silencing you, which generally means you got ratioed. If you are being banned on Twitter for being a radical feminist, chances are you were legitimately threatening trans people. As in, you were saying if you saw a trans person in a women's bathroom, if you saw a trans woman in a women's bathroom, you would beat the fucking shit out of them and cave their skull into the sink. That's the kind of shit Twitter would ban you for. And that, like, if they're saying, many of us radical feminists are being silenced and banned, probably because you threaten violence against us. Like, Jesus, dude, it's not hard to get banned on Twitter, but they make it so easy to ban them. Or, as it turns out, all Fane is good at is making radical feminist platforms, so when she creates one, she says, shit, I guess I'll just make another one. Steam Cyberpunk. Well, that's just steampunk. When's the last good steampunk game we had? To build Over It, Fane... fucking hell, I can't get over the name Over It. God, that is just painful to read. Anyway, Fane organized with the former moderators of Argenta Critical and a handful of other collaborators in a Discord server. Making a new website from scratch would take too long, so they looked for a pre-existing platform with open source code. The team thought about using the open source software behind Sedit, the popular Reddit alternative that hosts many banned Reddit communities, including the QAnon subreddit rPedogate. Pedogate? What's that about? Hey, trans people are weird and creepy. Now let me look at your junk before you go into this bar. That's the weirdest thing, right? I was thinking about this today. I want to make this point, okay? I want to make this point, and this may be offensive to some of you. I'm sorry if it is. But I have seen many men who identify as men and many women who identify as women who are, the men are not masculine, are very feminine, but are still identifying as men, and there are many women who identify as women who are... Hang on. So the men are feminine and the women are masculine. I have seen both sides of this where it's like, you can't tell. Either you can't tell, or they just lean very heavily into the opposite side of things. You know what I mean? And it's like, so what's going to happen here? What's going to happen if one of these transphobe psychopaths carrying a pistol or a pepper spray goes into a women's restroom and they see someone who they think is a trans person who is a cis person and they assault them? What's going to happen then? I can understand that the police, I don't trust the police. First of all, let's just say if I were to get assaulted in a public women's restroom, I would expect the perpetrator of that to say they felt threatened by my existence. And that might be a legitimate defense. What's going to happen if they do that same thing and it's a cis woman that they thought was trans? Because that does happen. There are cis women who can look trans based on certain markers, certain things about their appearance. Same with men. There are certain men you might look at and think they might be trans because they look a little bit more effeminate, you know? Do you get what I mean? Like, these people are willing to go out and physically assault somebody based on an assumption, you know? So they're trying to be these guardian protectors of bathrooms. It's like, you're not allowed to know what's in my pants. Why do you think you have the authority to do that? Anyway. Bailey J and Buck Angel exist. Exactly. Blair White, honestly, I wouldn't clock her. ContraPoints, wouldn't clock her. I mean, they are extreme examples. You get confused being a female just because you have long hair. Exactly. Like, I saw a kid, a kid, So, like, teenagers especially, honestly. Teenagers are in that awkward in-between phase where some of them are just legitimately androgynous. And I saw this kid with long hair, and I'm just like, I can't tell if that's a boy or a girl. I have no idea. And that's the thing. It's like, they can't tell either. You know these people cannot tell. There have been many, many threads recently on Twitter and on other places. I've read stories on Reddit, funnily enough, of people who are going and assuming they can clock a trans person and getting it wrong. I mentioned this in the Isaac Butterfield video the other night. There are people who believe that they can... what was the situation? Something about pronouns. Something about the pronouns debate. You know, that whole thing. That's a whole other debacle to get into. So yeah, there are people on all sides of the gender spectrum, realistically speaking. And quite frankly, the public bathrooms thing is a stupid debate because we should not have gendered bathrooms. We should have individual stalls that have a toilet, a sink, a mirror, toilet paper dispenser in one stall. Individual, with a proper locking door in a not little isolated room with multiple stalls and multiple sinks. They should be their own individual isolated things to begin with. And the fact that they're not is stupid. Anyway. If Hassan Piker wears a dress, he's 1,000 times more of a man than Ben Shabibo. This is true. But Hassan is just manly, okay? He's one of the men I will openly admit is actually legitimately attractive. Excuse me. Had that experience the other day. A big gay lad that looked and sounded extremely feminine. See, there you go. Hassan emotes in my chat now. Anyway, and the snuff film subreddit Watch People Die. I remember that place. That's morbid. But it wasn't secure enough. The group was worried about cyber attacks. Well, maybe they fucking should be. Sorry that you want to create an isolated echo chamber where you can spew hatred. Maybe you should be susceptible to cyber attacks. Fuck you. No cap. I think that's what that means. Another platform, Rattle, didn't offer moderation tools, which would be important if outsiders ever came over it to cause trouble. As well, they fucking should. Fuck them. They thought about Lemmy, a federated alternative to Reddit, which hosts the also banned Reddit community dedicated to the popular left-wing podcast Chapo Trap House. Fane says that didn't work out because the developers of Lemmy are actively anti-feminist, while the developers told me their code of conduct contains a section against anti-trans bigotry, which means we wouldn't help them in any way. Fucking round of applause. Round of a fucking applause for that shit. Good. That's how it should be. That is how it fucking should be. Finally, Fane and the others settled on an open source platform called Throat. Why does that make me laugh? Run by the Argentinian developer Ramiro Boo. Throat was created in 2016 as an alternative to Vote, another Reddit alternative. There are so many of these. Like, at what point do you just stop and say, maybe my idea is not that original? Like, do you need another one? There are already so many of these. Just stop. That Throat was a bit deep. Which was hosting many of the most disgusting former subreddits and had already become unusably toxic, as might be expected of any site branded as a home for conversation too disgusting for 2015 Reddit. I was on Reddit in 2015. I was actually like sort of on a sabbatical from gaming, and all I did in my free time was go on Reddit in 2015. And I remember Reddit in 2015. And again, I miss old Reddit because I liked when it had all of that stuff on the website so that, you know, people from all sides of the political spectrum could actually discuss these things and de-radicalize each other. When I asked Boo about over its use of his code, he told me they're nice people. And that they're currently one of the most active communities on Throat. I feel like nobody else is using the fucking website. So Gender Critical set up shop on a new instance of an alternative to Reddit. This is the thing that gets me. I've read this part already. Looks exactly like Reddit, except it's purple. They have to have that Reddit aesthetic. And subreddits are called circles. There is a circle called Cancelled, which is specifically for talking about attempts to silence those who speak out against the queer cult. The queer cult. Oh my god. You know what? I guarantee there's like an LGB circle on Throat or whatever it's called. I guarantee you there's an LGB Alliance section of it. And in fact, I think there's one on Reddit. LGB without the T on... I think I read about this. It's time for LGB and T to go their separate ways. No, it's not. What's this? Okay, just a heads up that the garbage on LGB Drop the T have made a subreddit for transphobes and not to accidentally follow it. Oh, yeah, here we go. This thread is archived. This is old news now. LGB Drop the T. These Drop the T folks have got to go. So, like, this transphobe still on Reddit. LGB Drop the T. Is it still there? Has been banned. Fuck them. Oh, God. Fuck them so hard. But don't actually fuck them. Anyway. Heard about Reddit and can't do this again. Used to troll 4chan back when you were in high school, and then the 12s got in, then you heard about Reddit, can't do this again. It's pretty fucked. Oh, God. I should stop laughing at it, because I disagree with Reddit banning subreddits unless they are, like, doing actually illegal shit, but then some of them are actually encouraging illegal shit, so it's hard to say. I like the idea of Reddit being a free speech, open conversation platform, but they don't want to be. They don't think it's profitable enough, so they've decided to get rid of... Oh, the Donald's gone. That's mentioned here. The Donald's gone. There is a circle called Translogic, which is specifically for talking about misogynistic and illogical things trans activists say and do. Like what? Make half-hour videos debunking Ben Shapiro going on about Elliot Page. Because I'll do it again, bitch. I'll do it again. There are general interest circles for talking about books, television, science, and knitting. There is a circle called Radfemery, which is for memes and jokes about how much the people in it do not like trans women. Good God. It's got to be exhausting to be this hateful. Honestly, I feel like I am an angry person, but I still try to give many people the benefit of the doubt. Many people, not all of them. But these people go out of their way to make a section. They go out of their way to make a specific hatred they have such a part of their life. And I can't imagine that specific level of energy to devote to this shit. Good God. Like, why would you? I don't get it. I really don't get it. The tone of the discussions in most of the circles is insular and defensive. Much of it is about the way big tech is censoring radical feminist thought by driving women. Are we coming back to that whole J.K. Rowling thing? Yeah, J.K. Rowling. The plight of J.K. Rowling. The plight of this billionaire authoress. Oh my God, my queen is being harassed by people on the internet who just want to have human rights. Fuck 'em. Is there a place you can plug a few lefty Reddits? Go ahead, just drop them in here. If you're in my Discord, drop them in the forum as well if you want to. A deliberately exclusionary term that prizes women with female reproductive organs. This is a thing that I want to bring up really quickly. This is a point that I want to bring up really quickly that TERFs will love to bring up and right-wingers will love to bring up about trans people, trans women especially, because the discourse around transgender people is always around trans women, trans masculine people, like I showed in the Ben Shapiro video. Towards the end of the Ben Shapiro video, Ben Shapiro is only making points about trans women when the context of the conversation was around Elliot Page, who was someone who transitioned to trans masculine. The conversation always tends to skew towards trans women. All right? Anyway, this woman thing and deliberately exclusionary term that prizes women with female reproductive organs. They love to go on about how a woman is specifically someone who can have and raise children, completely ignoring the fact that some women literally cannot have children, and I mean cisgendered women. There are some of them who just legitimately cannot have children of their own, cannot raise children of their own. And they also love to go on about how women are more than their vaginas. Which one is it? You know, these same people are using the talking point of you can only be a woman if you can have kids, but women are more than their vaginas. Which one is it? Pick one. You're not allowed to have both. Like, you're legitimately not allowed to have both things here. And yet they always make these points. I don't get it. Which one is it? Either women are allowed to just be women and not need to have children, thereby they're more than their vaginas, or women are only women if they can and are willing to have children, which again, some cisgendered women cannot have kids. You know, their biology just doesn't work the same way as a cis woman who can biologically have kids. It's just not possible. And again, adoption, yeah, like Reaper said. Remember, kids, if it wasn't for Hitler, we wouldn't have IVF treatment. I feel like we would. We would have developed it some other way. It's like what's he said? Who was it? I forget who it was. Oh, you know what? Ricky Gervais, which, we're not a huge fan of Ricky Gervais, but he did make a good point to Stephen Colbert about, religion and science. Like, if we wiped out all the science tomorrow, eventually we'd get all the science back, we'd do all the study, and everything would work out the same. If we got rid of all the religion, none of the religions would come back the same. There would be, people would make new religions that would be completely different, etc., etc., etc. Anyway. Gamer Ghazi, Amala Network, Sig Marxism. Sounds good. You know what? I'm going to open up Reddit and go to those now, and I'll check them out. We'll give them a look. We're not done with this yet. We're still going with this. I feel like I know of Gamer Ghazi. It's not working now. I know of the whole Gamergate thing. What happened there? I know that ContraPoint sort of came up through the ContraPoints kind of came up through the Gamergate thing, didn't she? And then she switched her content to much more significantly social justice based stuff. I don't remember exactly because blah 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 blah. Oh, here's someone who's responding to a message that I mentioned about the trans sports thing. Anyway, I'll read that later. Religion is just another word for an I'm a staunch atheist. Let's get that out of the way right now. I am 100% anti-religion. I'm anti-theist. I dislike it by its very definition. I will respect people's religion, but I will respect the fact that people are religious, but I am a staunch anti-theist. I do not like the concept of religion. I think it has led to more harm than good. I know a lot of people like to go, oh, but my religion, my church that I go to is really nice sense of community. I don't care. Genocides have happened because of gods. I don't give a shit. I don't care about your justification. But anyway, we'll leave that topic over here on the shelf for now. That's probably another factor of my whole leftism thing. Anyway, back to this. As well as the way the mainstream media has been taken over by a tiny minority of men, which is how over its members refer to trans women, of course. The plight of J.K. Rowling is revisited often. We mentioned that. Anyway. I don't want to be a part of any religion. The Child Crusades. Dude, what the fuck foundation? What is pressed powder? What does setting powder even do? I thought setting powder was supposed to keep your makeup on. It feels like I've been wiping it off. I'm not trying to. My nose is running. But I need to get setting spray or something. Something to keep this on my face because it's coming off. It's annoying me. You suck a fuck, Jeffrey. At least we got a moderator in chat now. In a practice carried over from Reddit, members are encouraged to share their conversation stories, which they confusedly call their peak trans moments. Peak trans. Oh god, I can already see where this is going. In a typical exchange, one woman explains she came to over it after dragging herself out of a trans rights-oriented Tumblr community and falling down a YouTube rabbit hole. Another replies that her story is extremely similar, right down to her discomfort with her previous social circle's expectation that she be supportive of men in lipstick. Dear God. Oh, my fucking goodness, dude. What the fuck is peak trans? Well, this sort of shit, where they're saying, oh, I had an interaction that involved trans people and it scared me. So I went and I joined a gender-critical subreddit and became a radicalized anti-woman feminist, basically. That's what they are. They're anti-woman feminists. They don't believe in the idea of women. They believe in the idea of a specific subset of women. And only those specific subset of women are allowed to be a super fit trans person. Exactly. Well, who's a super fit trans woman that we could use as an example? I can't even think of anyone at the moment. The one that Blair White did the video on. Many of these stories are told with a sense of excitement, guilt, fear. It's disturbing but thrilling. What the fuck? Again, they get so worked up by this. They get so warped into this sense that they're under threat, and they build their personalities around the fact that they're in a transphobic cult. That's what they're in. They're literally in a cult, in an online cult. I don't know if they have meetings. Do they wear white hoods? I don't know. But anyway, they make this such a part of their personalities. It's like it's barely a thing. This is peak performance. You might not like it. Yeah, exactly. They want the attention of becoming a victim. of being a victim. Exactly. They want to be seen as someone who is under attack. And that's the huge problem with this sort of shit. Is like these people are actively making the discussion around trans people worse for trans people. They are going out of their way to make things worse for trans people.
We appear
right?
to have guests.
Hey! Lee, thank you for the host. How you doing? I wasn't expecting it to just be a host. Usually I expect raids. But when there's actually viewers, hello, how you doing? How'd your stream go? What were you streaming? I'll come back to transphobes in a moment because we love talking about how transphobes are shit. How was your stream? Tell me all about it. What'd you get up to? What were you playing? Can I give you a... Well, I know you... Maybe I won't because I know you don't like shout-outs. I won't give you a shout-out. Fuck it. Who cares? I wonder if there'd be a way to set up a command that automatically detects the latest host or raid, and then you press the shout-out button, and it just triggers like immediately and goes, okay, the last raid or host, shout out that person. I wonder if you'd be able to do that on Stream Deck. You'd probably need some like specific code done for it. You make a point of saying people who make their entire personality an LGBT are obnoxious, but this is like the equal but opposite side of this thought. That's true. That is true. There we go. So everybody go follow Lee. There we go. Playing Immortals Phoenix Rising. Yeah, how was that? Tell us about that. We'll interrupt for a second. We'll interrupt our turf discussion for a second. Because, you know, turf discussions are fun, but eventually exhausting. I wonder if you can tell what my hair is inspired by tonight. Just based off, like, maybe my shirt. I can't get the whole fringe thing to happen, sadly. Like with my Harley Quinn shirt. I can't do that. I don't think that's even possible as a hairstyle now that I look at it. Looks kind of virtually impossible. It's Assassin's Creed Breath of the Wild. It must be ContraPoints. I mean, for a while there, I was trying with my ContraPoints attempt. Like, my profile picture at the moment is very ContraPoints. Excuse me. I mean, it feels like any game that isn't Assassin's Creed is a better Assassin's Creed game than Assassin's Creed is. You know what I mean? Like, if there is a game that does the Assassin's Creed formula, it's better than Assassin's Creed at it. Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, Breath of the Wild, really, in a sense. It doesn't have weapon degradation. That's good. 5 points. You don't like energy drinks, but there's a moment when they can be a godsend. That's true. That's true. I do need to play Breath of the Wild. I haven't played Breath of the Wild yet. I know I have to give it a go. You feel like you're making it about me when you refer to yourself as Envy in place of a girl. You used to call yourself a sweet, innocent girl all the time, and now you're a sweet, innocent little Envy. That's the thing. It's like if we mention... and I don't shut the fuck up about the fact that I'm trans. I know that. But I feel like it's a point that I need to make. You know, I feel like I need to bring up these topics and talk about them because it's an issue and because I want to raise awareness of these issues and things like that. Because as a trans person who is explicitly at risk of being assaulted... You know what I mean? I worry about this shit constantly. Like I said before, I look at men and women out in public and I am terrified of both. You know, I feel like at any moment any one of them could clock me and then assault me or do something that might harm me in some way, shape or form. I worry. I worry that someone might find out where I live and cause harm to me because of the fact that I'm trans. Thereby, I feel like I have a responsibility to talk about this stuff and raise awareness of it and try to dissuade that hateful attitude. That's why we're on this subject. So when it comes to the whole LGBT being obnoxious thing, that's what I feel is the point that I'm making with it. But at the same time, there are people who just really want to put it in your face, I guess. There are some people who are really outwardly obnoxious about it. And of course, on the other end of the spectrum, you've got these victims, these people who want to be victims, who are making it a much bigger issue than it actually is. So what are we saying? Even Pong is a better Assassin's Creed than Assassin's Creed. Had to switch to MB5. What's MB5? Be one of those id poll is cancer and needs to stop type of people, but if we don't talk about this, we can't hash out ideas for concepts for a better world. Exactly. This is what annoyed me about, again, that streamer that I mentioned who went right-wing because they were sick of id poll. It's like, you mean people trying to fight for human rights? Oh no, what a terrible thing. Anyway, they obviously did it for attention. You know, it's a great idea. I'm going to make a community that's built around marginalized people, and then I'm going to go vote for Donald Trump because I want to be a rebel. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. If you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. Because normally in the morning you have a coffee. Oh, okay, yeah, don't drink the milk that smells like cheese. Anywho, back to the article. How much have we got left? We've got a fair bit here. Oh, we're nearly done. Let me see. Here we go. Oh yeah, here's a good part. They 10 out of 10 pivoted to the right for the grift. They absolutely did. Absolutely did. The only major difference between over and gender critical is that here nobody challenges the members. That is the problem. We are not challenging their ideas. They are going into their echo chambers and they are staying in their echo chambers. There are no outsider trolls butting into the conversation to tell them that they're wrong. On Reddit, some women can be uncomfortable being totally candid, Fane told me. But here they can be themselves. It was really hard to be on Reddit as a woman. So this is the thing that happens with a lot of right-wingers. And I believe it was Tim Pool who recently said something along the lines of people want to be left alone, you know? When it comes to IdPol, when it comes to Black Lives Matter, when it comes to any of these issues, it's like, we want to be left alone. And that's what they want. They want to be comfortable. Well, tough shit, bitch. The rest of us are not. And that's why we're discussing these things, and that's why we're bringing your bullshit to the forefront and trying to make you feel guilty about it so you change your views. You know? You don't get to be comfortable. I'm sorry, but you don't. The moment yeah, he is a grifter, but he did have, that wasn't a point. That I'm counteracting his point of people want to be comfortable. He's like, oh, people want to be comfortable. Fuck you're comfortable. Fuck your comfort. You don't deserve it as long as your comfort comes at the expense of other people. You know? Fuck your comfort. So here's a question you have. It's pretty obvious that in the world of customizable game characters, representation of all types is a problem because 99% of the time it's either cis white man or cis white woman and no other choices. This is compounded by the overwhelming number of games where characters are monogendered into cis male or cis female with no options for representation. But what do we do about it? That's far too complicated. I don't know, honestly. That's a very good question, but there's a lot in there that you need to analyze. It's very, very tricky. Take Kamala Harris, for example. You see nonstop, she's the first black woman VP, and you're like, what are her policies? You sexist. And you laugh because either A, they are uninformed, or willfully... I like how the B turned into a little emoji. Willfully ignorant. One of your friends solely uses him as a source. This is what reminds me of Isaac Butterfield. He goes on so hard about Joe Rogan. I feel like the majority of his information comes from Joe Rogan. It's like, dude, please listen to anyone else. Please find someone else to listen to. Dear God. He is such a simp for Joe Rogan. I hate people that latch onto one personality and never expand beyond that. Except me. Everyone should listen to me. I'm amazing. I'm good. I am perfect. Only watch me. Subscribe to me. Donate to my Patreon. All of that. Because I'm a fantastic creator. And I deserve more attention. Thank you very much. That has been my TED Talk. Oh, can I talk about how I fucking hate the term... Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I did that as a joke just now, but I fucking hate it so much. I really, really hate the TED Talk thing so fucking much. You have no idea. You know why? Because there are a lot of people who will make an opinion known on social media. Not a fact, an opinion. They'll spout their opinion and they'll go, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Here's the thing, bitch. TED Talks are based in fact and science and reason and logic, and they are absolutely, educational things to listen to. TEDx Talks, on the other hand, are paid for by the person who is making the TEDx talk and is constantly based in misinformation and opinion. Okay? Don't listen to TEDx Talks. TED, go ahead. TED Talks are fine. TEDx Talks, fuck them. They are independent. Okay? They are not representative of education. There might be some good stuff in there, but there are a lot of things in there that are filled with misinformation. So when you go out there spouting your opinion on social media and say, thanks for coming to my TED Talk, throw an X in there, bitch. Because that's your opinion, and I don't want to fucking hear you say it's a TED Talk. Anyway, it's my little rant about that. More female drone pilots. I used to watch a bunch of clips of JRE, and I think there are some points that... there's the thing, right? He sometimes does have good thoughts on things, and his guests sometimes do have good thoughts on things as well. But generally speaking, I think he is an alt-right perpetuator at the very least. Rodney Mullen's talk was alright, yeah. I like Rodney Mullen's talk. I am a narcissist. I will freely admit that I'm a narcissist. I actually do have narcissistic tendencies. I mean, true narcissism is pretty extreme, but I do believe I have some narcissistic tendencies for sure. So, anyway, shall we go back to this? We'll try to wrap this up. How much more have we got? Not a whole lot. Maybe we do. Yeah, no, we're here. We're at this point, and we've got all this, and oh my god. Oh, dear Lord. Do we stop at some point? I feel like we keep going, but I don't know how far we go. Has the mentality of a child no nuance? What if a manly man paid a doctor to transition him so he can have an unfair... Yeah, that goes back to that tweet. That goes back to that tweet again that I tweeted before my retweet. Blokes won't give a shit about women's sport, but as soon as a trans woman decides to take part, they become an expert in female bone density and muscle memory. You know? It's always been a transphobic dog whistle. It always has been. It has never not been that. So that's the problem with the whole trans sports thing. They only bring it up to trash on trans women. That's the discussion. Through and through. Again, there's a reason I made that command. Alright, so we've already talked about the free speech absolutism platform thing, how I believe that Reddit was better when it was about being free speech and had all access to all those categories. We've already talked about that. So, oh yeah, I know you mentioned it because JRE, that's what I mean, that's what he does. Anytime he talks about trans people, it's the trans women in sports thing again. Every fucking time. Okay, there's that. There's that whole situation. I think we've pretty much covered it. If you want to read the rest of it, I will leave a link. I will put the link in chat, I suppose, if you would like to read the rest of that. I've got this article saved, so this is probably going to be a video. So if you are watching this on YouTube, please like the video, please comment, please subscribe, please ring the notification bell. Yeah, if you actually have any thoughts on this, please leave them down below. There we go. I don't do that. I don't do that when I make these YouTube videos. I don't say the whole like, comment, subscribe thing because it's a live stream. You know, it'd be weird, but I guess we're going to do that now. So, again, if you are watching this on YouTube after I have streamed it on Twitch at twitch.tv/roguebitch, remember to subscribe, ring the notification bell, like the video, and hopefully you watch it all the way through, and leave a comment if you have any down below. There we go. Did I do that okay? Was that okay? Was that a good outro? Was that a good outro? My outro so far have just been, okay, that's a good point to stop. I'll run the outro now. Wavered in your beliefs about JRE when he stand Bernie Sanders, but he's mostly useless. He is. Why have I got headphones in? Can I ask that question? Why have I got headphones in? We were reading an article. Okay, Jordan Peterson. Should we do the Jordan Peterson thing? Where do we begin? Where can I begin reading about Jordan Peterson? What do we do? JRE knows three things. Trans women in sports, MMA, platforming the alt-right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He has so many commentators on that are alt-right or far-right. But how many leftist commentators have he had on? Has he had on? I ask this every time. What do I ask? Am I doing this alright? Am I doing okay? Am I a good streamer? Yeah, let's start with Wikipedia. Let's start with the obvious example. Let's go to Jordan B. Peterson on Wikipedia. Canadian... Oh, why do I have headphones in? I know. Why do I wear these? Why do I wear these? I've seen her video on ContraPoints. I've seen ContraPoints. I've seen Natalie's video. I've seen Natalie's video on Jordan Peterson. And all it did was make me fall in love with her. I didn't pay any attention to the context. I was listening to a podcast about Jordan Peterson. And I had the situation where I was like, I'm listening, but I'm not taking in any information because I was doing other stuff while I was listening to it. So it was like, I've missed everything. I've missed everything about it. I only know the vaguest bits about Jordan Peterson. I really do. I only know bits and pieces about him, so I'm not familiar with him. Time to get links, please do. If you've got short videos, short punchy videos, or articles that give me a bit of context for who he is. Yeah, I was going to say in regards to you find his voice soothing. Have you heard him speak? Are you sure you're thinking of Jordan Peterson? Because he has a grating voice. He has an irritating voice. Well, here's his YouTube channel. Hang on.
Hi,
Here's his YouTube channel. Here's his latest video from 1 month ago. Return home.
everyone. As some of you may know, but others will not, it's been a long while since I put up any new content on this YouTube channel.
Ew. He sounds weird. He doesn't sound... I mean, this is him returning from 18 months in hospital, so he's probably not in the best state of things. One part of JP is self-help, which you've heard isn't bad, but you're not a huge fan. I mean, that's the thing, is I've heard that he's very much a self-help guru kind of person. 12 rules for life and all that sort of stuff. Here's a good critique of old JP. So I've heard there's some good and I've heard there's some bad. So we'll have why he's always wrong. Well, there we go. We're off to a good start with some nice balanced critique. He almost overdosed and went to a Russian hospital. Jesus. Yeah, he was on opiates or something, wasn't he? Or what was he on? Was he on some kind of medication that he OD'd on? I can't remember what it was. I remember something about that. Anyway, so he's a Canadian clinical psychologist and professor of psychology at the University of Toronto.
Welcome back.
Welcome
supporter
back,
of the
Cuckles.
cause.
Thank you for helping me hit my
Self-help
subgoal.
is hit or miss. Radiant Aya.
Radiant, yeah. Yes, self-help is hit or miss. That's weird, yeah. Reminds me of like watching a self-help video that that Friendly Geordie's put out, and or Jordan Shanks in this example. Thank you for helping me hit my sub goal, Cuckles. How are you doing, by the way? Let me see. And the video that I watched by him, I was like, this didn't help with anything. Jordan, shut up. You're not a self-help guru. Shut up. Anyway. So what's this? Another Radiant fan. Who's Radiant? So here we go. What the hell happened to Jordan Peterson? I can't look at it. Fucking journalists, dude. God damn it. I don't want to pay you money. Pay me money. I'm more important. Imagine thinking you should get paid for putting words on the internet. Good lord. How obnoxious. No, I'm I'm kidding. Okay, I am kidding. They do deserve to get paid. But now I can't read this. I can't read the article unless I subscribe, and I'm not going to subscribe. Prefer to pay over the phone? Fuck no. Bypass paywall? Maybe. We've got this article here. We'll read this. We can get rid of that. So yeah, let's have a look at what's in his Wikipedia page. Don't know if you've heard of him. There's a guy on conservative AM talk radio in the United States called Glenn Beck. I have heard of Glenn Beck, who is well known for giving generally good financial advice combined and wrapped up in crazy dogma shit. Yeah. Which is ultimately what JP is about too, giving good life advice wrapped up in gender roles and radical individualism. You use it and don't have to pay for the shit. Is this did the article kind of load before the pay thing? Not that I saw. Let me reload. Maybe? Hard to tell. Jesus cursed. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? What did I miss? Anyway. Born and raised in Alberta, he obtained his bachelor's degrees in poli-sci and
appear
psych.
to have guests.
Hey, Reaper, thank you for the host. And a PhD in clinical psychology from McGill. After teaching and research in Harvard, he returned to Canada in 1998 to join the Faculty of Psychology at Toronto. In 1990, he published his first book, Maps of Meaning, the Architecture of Belief, which became the basis for many of his subsequent lectures. The book combined information from psychology, mythology, religion, literature, philosophy, and neuroscience to analyze systems of belief and meaning. Oh, the paywall shit. Okay. Yeah. It's annoying, but it's understandable. It's like, what are you supposed to do, I feel like they have to make money somehow or they wouldn't exist, unfortunately. Maybe they have a staunch anti-advertisement thing, but maybe they don't. Bloody paywall articles. Stupid. Released a series of YouTube videos criticizing the Act to amend the Canadian Human Rights Act and Criminal Code, passed by the Parliament of Canada to introduce gender identity and expression as prohibited grounds of discrimination. He argued the bill would make the use of certain gender pronouns into compelled speech. Why do they keep going with this? And related this argument to a general critique of political correctness and identity politics. He subsequently received significant media coverage, attracting both support and criticism. Compelled speech is a transmission of expression required by law. A related legal concept is protected speech. Just as freedom of speech protects free expression, in many cases it similarly protects an individual from being required to utter or otherwise express a thought with which they disagree. Ugh. This is annoying. This goes back to that thing about that Toby Ariyomi guy or whatever his name was, where he's going that you are forcing my speech. The compulsion of my speech, or whatever it is he said, the composition of my speech, where it's like no one is compelling you to not be a hateful bigot. We're just asking you to stop being a hateful bigot. Laws against actively trying to diminish the existence of a certain minority group are good. Those are good laws. We don't want hate speech that promotes violence against trans people. Jordan Peterson, custodian of the patriarchy. He says there's a crisis in masculinity. Fuck off. Collapse. Why won't women, all these wives and... I feel like all of these are very, very leftist, and it's going to skew my viewpoints a little bit, but... but at the same time, do I want to read from a right-wing source? Probably not. Let's see here. So he's got a few books. The Architecture of Belief, 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos, 2018. Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life, which is going to be coming out next year, apparently. YouTube channel and podcasts. He spoke with that guy what's got the tiny face. Look at how small his face is. That's Charlie Kirk. He has a very tiny face. It's like his face is here. His head's a normal size. His face is here. It's like all on his nose. If you click Witch's link and hit escape as the page loads, you can read the article without the paywall. So wait, which one? The earlier one? That didn't work. There we go. No, that's doing that. If I do that, that's what I get. The New York Times. Where's the MIT article? Oh, this one. Oh, I can read this one. This one's fine. Apparently. Jesus Christ, it's a novel, though. Holy shit. Like, it's a whole-ass novel. We've got a lot to go through here. Is there a problem with streaming reading articles? Is there a problem with streaming, reading an article, and giving your thoughts on it, reacting to an article, basically? Are there problems with that? Is this a DMCA thing? Is this a copyright thing? I didn't think about this. I mean, people do react content to YouTube. You did say she was girthy, that's true. People have been doing, like, reacting to YouTube and all that sort of stuff. This is Tim Pool's entire content. I mean, that's true. Like, other big grifters do this shit routinely. It's less fun than vids. I was going to do a video. I was going to see if there was a YouTube video we could do. Does it count as fair use because of criticism? Arguably. But if we're reading stuff I agree with, am I really going to criticize it? Like with the thing we just did. Like with the thing we just did a moment ago. Like we were reading about transphobes. And because the article was generally positioned from a left-wing perspective, from a left-wing bias, I was just reiterating points that were made in the article, rather than debunking and breaking down things, which is what I would like to do more of. And if there is a video that we can use as a Jordan Peterson thing, but we're learning about him right now. We're learning about who the fuck is Jordan Peterson. He opens an article, reads it, then says his take, uploads to YouTube. I mean, that's what I was doing the other night, yeah. And that's what we're going to do tonight. Time to find the right-wing videos that jerk off Jordan Peterson. Hold up. Holding up. What are we holding up for? There's Charlie Kirk and Jordan Peterson. Obviously he's done podcasts. He's gone on Joe Rogan Experience. He has his own podcast. Or he had his own podcast. I don't know if he's still doing it. Peterson's daughter is a co-host on some episodes. What's the deal with Michaela Peterson? What is the deal with Michaela Peterson? Characterized himself politically as a classic British liberal. What does that mean? I don't think that doesn't sound good. Advocates civil liberties under the rule of law with an emphasis on economic freedom, closely related to economic liberalism it developed in the early 19th century, building on ideas from the previous century as a response to urbanization and the Industrial Revolution in Europe and North America. Republican. Yeah, basically. You thought he was some overbearing, overly sexual creeper art teacher. Oh, Peterson? I mean, maybe. It's hard to tell. I don't know that much about him. I don't know if he's had any allegations in that vein or anything like that. I just know that a lot of incels like him. A lot of incels are a fan of him. Don't just drop a YouTube link in my chat without giving me any context whatsoever. Just based on the snippet. That was the video that put him on the map. I'm not clicking on that. Okay, so what is it? Explain it to me then. Matt Dillahunty had a conversation for a few hours. JP and Matt Dillahunty. Family is super right-wing. I feel sorry for you, cuckles. You don't need to delete the message. I just wanted context. Was interesting to say the least. It's a news interview. Okay. What's this one, Cass? We'll have a look at this. I mean, I can still click the link on it. I can still click the other link. Let me have a look. Okay, so this is 29 minutes. All right. Debate on the gender pay gap, campus protests, and postmodernism. And Jordan Peterson exposes the oppression of the left's ideology. Well, this is shorter. We'll give this one a look quickly. This is okay. Let's yeah, I was worried about a Rickroll. Anyway, thank you, Gene Bob, for giving me that. I'll have a look. But yeah, if you're gonna drop a link, please give me context immediately. I should make it it'd be good if I could make it a channel point reward to be good if I could make it a channel point reward to unlock link protection for yourself. That'd be cool as an idea, I think.
Obviously, I've spoken not just at the University of Toronto, but colleges all over the world. What is it you see today on the campus or among young people today that's new, or is it new? I've heard you say that we're no more polarized today than we were maybe even under Richard Nixon, and the campuses were more on fire then than even they are today. So what are the similarities and differences that you're seeing?
Well, I don't see any real evidence that your society is more polarized, generally speaking, than it has been at many times in the past. And I think the Nixon era is a good example. I mean, if you think about it merely.
What about the audio? Yeah, the audio is already very low, so I don't know what the hell is going on. I've turned the desktop audio up for now.
Statistically, I mean, you've been split 50-50 Republican Democrat for, 5 elections now, and it's almost perfect 50-50 split. That really hasn't changed. Trump, of course, is somewhat of a wild card, and so that complicates things, but I don't think it changes the underlying dynamic. What I do think has arisen again, because it's made itself manifest many times in the last.
Have a good night, Kez. Please harass us later. Anyway, I haven't seen anything that I can comment on just yet. There's nothing I can comment on just yet.
Last 100 years is the rise of this group identity associated quasi-Marxist viewpoint with this additional toxic mixture and paradoxical mixture of postmodernism.
Okay, he's lost me. I know vaguely about Marxism. Postmodernism lost me. Like, I'm not quite sure what he's going for there. So I need to bring myself up to speed on like what postmodernism is and why have they got, is that their logo? They've got their logo on the thing twice because they've got it as their little branding down here in the corner, and then they've got it on the actual video as well. So, Marxism and postmodernism. What does postmodern buzzwords, SJWs are bad. What is postmodernism other than an art style? Is a broad movement that developed in the mid to late 20th century across philosophy, blah, 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 blah. The term has been generally applied to describe a historical era said to follow after modernity. What does that even mean? Generally defined by an attitude of skepticism, irony, or rejection towards what it describes as the grand narratives and ideologies associated with modernism, often criticizing Enlightenment rationality and focusing on the role of ideology in maintaining political or economic power. Postmodern thinkers frequently describe knowledge claims and value systems as contingent or socially conditioned, framing them as products of political, historical, or cultural discourses and hierarchies. You did a political compass test and you got lib socialist. You thought you were lib left or populist left. I did one and I got progressivist. Which makes sense. I am a progressivist. You meant Kez. There you go. Yeah, buzzwords. So that doesn't really help me, honestly. It doesn't really explain a whole lot.
The postmodernists are famous for being skeptical of meta-narratives. That might be.
Oh my fucking god, dude! How does anyone latch on to his ideas if this is the way that he speaks? I have no idea. Like, I feel like this is kind of the point, though. Run rings around people so that they get confused and they latch onto like a few ideas. And they're just like, okay, I know this bit, and this bit. It's like when I was reading philosophy. It's like when I was reading these bits and pieces, it's like I understand some of the content. But I know some people were getting lost when we were bringing that up, when we were doing the little bit of philosophy thing. Because, blah, 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 blah. Let me just get this out of the way really quickly. Let me think for a second. It's like I read it and I understand, depending on which context I am looking at, I understand it. But, so explain like I'm 5. Can someone explain postmodernism? I was like, yeah, I get it. I get what I'm reading, but some people might not get it because it does use too many big words. It does use too many things you need to know the meaning of before you go into the sentence. So it talks in an effort to delay/prevent their ability to respond to the baselessness of his beliefs. Difficult for someone to disagree with you effectively if they can't speak your language. This is kind of what Shapiro was trying to do, but he was doing so unsuccessfully with regards to the Elliot Page thing. He was speaking too fast and bringing up far too many topics for anyone to focus on what was going on. So his audience is probably just like watching the video and just picking up on the hints. Yeah, filibuster. Yeah, it's like a filibuster sort of situation. You just got to keep talking and keep spouting out nonsense. in order to get people to just either be on your side or to delay the conversation, to delay the response, and make your opponent work even harder to understand and break down what you have said. This is like, I just had to look up postmodernism. And like I said, I know Marxism. I had to look up, I had a vague concept of postmodernism in my head. I know the word, It's like a gish gallop. Throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. That's exactly what it is. This is what they all do. And this is why people think they are smart people, because they know how to use the big words quickly. Like elucidate. I use the word elucidate. In a traditional book, imagine this is like the author holding up a frame through which you're viewing the story. The postmodern author is holding up a frame too, and you're looking through it and viewing the story, but this time the author is also drawing attention to the frame. In other words, part of the story is the storytelling itself. That's interesting. There's an idea. Can someone explain postmodernism like I'm 5? I just read White Noise by Don DeLillo. Strangely, I recognize it as postmodernist literature, but I can't really describe exactly what it is. I've read up on it on Wikipedia, but that was a can of worms. Okay. To some of these other folks are explaining postmodernism with a lot of long words that are not for 5-year-olds. I won't pretend I understand it as well as them, but I did study postmodern literature a bit at university, and this is how it was explained to me. Much of storytelling that preceded postmodernism, and most of it that followed for that matter, was interested in just telling you the story. In the traditional book, there's that thing you were just telling us. I'm not going to try and illustrate this with books I haven't read, but movies will do just fine. The scene in Fight Club, for example, where one moment we're told that Tyler Durden character worked as a projectionist and made it his hobby to insert frames from porn flicks into the movies he was showing. Then a scene or two later, single-ish frames are inserted into the movie we're watching. That right there is about as postmodern as you can get. Okay. That's a little bit easier to understand. A little bit more of a concept. Another good example, and really obvious, I haven't seen The Usual Suspects. After the big reveal, you're walking out of the theater thinking, so how much of what you've just watched actually happened? You had no way of knowing that the movie all along was lying to you because it was following Verbal's version of events. I'll have to watch The Usual Suspects to even understand what that means. Is the conscious act of drawing indirect attention to the fourth wall. That is indirectly acknowledging the viewer through utilizing the tools of the art being displayed. Okay, I think I get it now. I think I have the concept in my head of what postmodernism is. I'm not quite sure what that relates to when it comes to university campuses. I'm not quite sure, like university populations. What's he going on about saying that, Marxism, which there was a thing recently, Marxism, give me a second. I don't know if I saved this or not, but did I save it? No, I didn't. Maybe it was in my watch later list. Where's my watch later list? This thing. There was a debate between Senator Kelly Loeffler and Raphael Warnock at the Atlanta Press Club in the United States. And she asked him, she's a Republican, he's a Democrat. And she asked him, much like the speaker at the debate between Trump and Biden, the first speaker between Trump and Biden. Remember when the speaker asked, or the mediator, remember when the mediator asked Trump to denounce white supremacy? Because everyone should be aware that white supremacy is a bad thing. All right? We are aware that white supremacy is a negative, harmful, very, very bad thing. All right? This lady, Kelly Loeffler, Senator Kelly Loeffler, in the same vein, asked her opponent in this debate to denounce Marxism and socialism. She says to him, can you, right now, renounce socialism and Marxism? Like that has any merit in any way, shape, or form. Marxism and socialism are not the same thing as white supremacy, you stupid twit. I do not understand what she thinks she was saying, like what kind of own she was going for there. But she comes across as an absolute uneducated dipshit. Quite frankly. Yeah, stand back and stand by. That is not a denouncement. He actively encouraged white supremacy with that remark. Anyway, back to Jordan Peterson. Okay, let's see if we can unpack any of what he says, because it's all just, again, we got the whole filibuster thing. He's just saying big words.
Defining, that was Lyotard, I believe, who coined...
Also, for the record, if I have to go back and edit this, I'm probably going to boost the volume in post, because I've been doing that with the Isaac Butterfield video that I'm doing now. I don't know what's going on with the system audio. Like, I've got the desktop audio in OBS right now turned up to max, so you should be able to hear it, but, I think the point she's going for is that they're equal on the opposite sides of the political spectrum. No, see, she's speaking to an audience that believes Marxism and socialism are these evil, vile regimes that are trying to conquer the world, and people should be scared of them, like white supremacy. That's the argument she's trying to make there, but she had no ground to stand on.
That, although I might be wrong. It was one of the French postmodernists, and that means that they're skeptical about the idea that large uniting narratives are valid. And
go back a second. Hang on. I think I know what he just said there. Hang on.
Who coined that? That might be a defining. That was Lyotard, I believe, who coined that. Although I might be wrong. It was one of the French postmodernists, and that means that they're skeptical about the idea that large uniting narratives are valid.
I'm like, what? Oh my God, Jesus Christ! How do you understand? How do you people listen to him? Holy fuck! I start off knowing what he's saying, and then by the time he gets to the end of the sentence, I've lost him. Large uniting narratives are valid. Okay. Sorry.
And that means that they're skeptical about the idea that...
Okay, they're skeptical of the idea that large uniting narratives are valid. Okay. Anyway, I think the fundamental problem with conservatives is that they get away with defining the terms. For example, Marxism, socialism means something to educated leftists, means something else to rights and Tories. The same is also true of global warming, social justice, racism, and so on. As long as we have to justify our policies on their definitions, we lose. That is the problem. Yeah, he meant like 3 things at once. That was a complete confusing mess of all things that he was just saying. But that is true. That is what the right wing tends to do. Okay, the right wing does have this tendency to claim the terms that we are trying to use to have our discussions around. And by claiming those terms and by choosing the definitions that we have to acknowledge, we have one of 2 choices, okay? We either break down why their definition of Marxism, socialism, racism, social justice, etc. is wrong. We tell them why they're wrong about that, but then we're wasting time trying to counteract their points at the same time. And that's the tactic that they use. Again, the what's it called? The filibuster thing. You know, you just keep throwing things at your opponent so that they're too discombobulated for you to actually reach a conclusion with your own arguments. Common debate tactic. You know, if you are debating somebody and they are able to make you stumble over what you have to say because they're just throwing so much at you, then you will lose in the eyes of the audience. And that's the problem. You know this is true because in America, people generally support lefty policies if you give them the definition of the policies, and they reject lefty policies if you give them the conservative term. That's the point. That is definitely the point. That is the idea. The alt-right playbook series. I've watched a couple of those. I've watched a couple of alt-right playbooks. One of them was on transphobes, I believe, actually, on the note. Same concept with Medicare for All. Calling Biden a socialist makes him sound better than he actually is. Well, yeah, true. That is true.
Large uniting narratives are valid. And it's a huge problem, that claim, because the first question is, well, how big does the narrative have to be before it's a meta-narrative? Right? I mean, is the narrative that holds your family together a falsehood? Is the narrative that holds your community together a falsehood? Like, how big does it have to be before it becomes a falsehood? And so it's...
Okay, I think I see what he's saying there. I think I understand what he's saying there. You're welcome. If you frame the question as full takeover of government-run healthcare, people shit themselves. But if you phrase it as single-payer, government-funded health, Medicare for all, they'll love it. Yeah, exactly. So the words we choose, the words we use in discussion and debate are very important. And this is the problem I had the other night talking about transgender people when it came to Elliot Page, the discussion around Elliot Page, and I had to edit out a couple. I don't think I got all of them, honestly, in the Elliot Page video, where I said the word transgendered, which I actually mentioned earlier in that segment is a negative thing that you shouldn't say because that is a slur used by transphobic people. They say transgendered people as a slur. Right? That's not what we're supposed to say. That's a negative term. So even the slightest modification on a word can convey a different meaning, can convey a different intention, and thereby, you have to be well aware of what it is that you're saying and what it is that other people are saying. And this is the whole point of like trying to educate ourselves in this stuff, and why I am considering, if I do go back to uni, it may be in either political, it may be either into political science, philosophy, or psychology, like the stuff he does. I'm very strongly considering, or what was the other one? Social science. Anyway, if there's one thing you've learned about politics for years, it's not so much what they exactly say in regards to topics, it's about the words and framing of the question at hand. Yes. Yeah, transgendered is not really a word, it's transgender. The respectful term is transitioned people, maybe. I mean, even then, that doesn't sound quite right. And I had this thought on my mind about, like, is it okay to refer to people pre-transition?
Welcome to the compound.
Testicles, 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to the rogue room, not the compound. I do have to figure out my whole situation with the alert sounds. I haven't fixed those yet. And, of course, I have no alert animations. But anyway, welcome in, Test. How you doing? Sounds a bit out there, that terminology. It does sound a bit out there. Thought you meant transgendered. No. Like, well, maybe it does mean that. It might be referring to people who have transitioned or detransitioned. Maybe. I don't know. Or yeah. I don't. It's hard to say. I just meant it in general. Like when I kept saying it, what I meant was people who are trans. And I hate that I was saying it, and I'm trying to work that out of my vocab now, because all I meant was people who are trans. But that's not a good word. I'm not going to react to the Disaster Movie song because I do not respect the fact that the Disaster Movie exists. The thing is, left are more about arguments and truth, and the right is just about racking up points. It's a competition. Like, it's absolutely, especially with regards to American politics, but less so in Australian politics, because they do it in Australian politics. If you watch, like, Talking Time, or whatever they fucking call it, if you watch the thing where you've got the Senate or the House or whatever it is, they've got all the politicians in the room talking and bollocking on about bullshit. It's very adversarial. It's not professional. It's not formal in any way, shape, or form. They go out of their way to be as aggressively either aggressive or defensive, like offensive or defensive as much as humanly possible. It doesn't become a civil discussion about actually moving things in the right direction. It just becomes people constantly attacking each other for their viewpoints and attacking each other for things they've done. And that's definitely true of American politics. They constantly just go at each other, and people who are on opposite sides of the political spectrum are constantly aggressing on each other. Like it's a war. It's a constant back and forth. So you've got like this two-party system, generally speaking, and we have the same thing here in Australia. There are two parties. It's either going to be the Labor or the Liberals that are going to get in. Very seldom do we see any progress towards the Greens getting in or any other party, and thank fuck One Nation almost gets no votes. I'm amazed that they even have the capacity to exist in their current state. It's baffling that One Nation can continue to operate in any reasonable capacity, but I digress. Yeah, like there is, generally speaking, this two-party progressive or conservative system. You've got, your left wing or your right wing, and they are both going at each other with different angles. Like I said, you've got, or like you said, sorry, Sammy, the right is just trying to get points. They're trying to look like they have the highest score. They have this thing about owning the libs. The whole idea is like, I made you triggered, therefore I win. I made you upset. I made you question something. I made you doubt something. I made you angry about a topic, therefore I win. I get points. I'm ahead. That's what the right tries to do. And it's very, very dangerous. It's a very, very dangerous thing. And then, the left is actually trying to disseminate these arguments, trying to break down the bad things that are being said. But by the time that we've broken down a topic, the next topic has been brought to the table, and they're just going at it again. It's just a constant cycle. Hey, human, how you doing? Who the fuck is Jordan Peterson? So that's what we're trying to figure out right now. This is a very, very interesting discussion to be having, honestly. I am quite interested by what we're doing here. So this is keeping me on my toes. I'm enjoying this new style of content. I hope you're enjoying it as well. I hope you guys are having fun, because I am. This is weird for me. Because I'm not, I suppose the thing is, in the last 6 or so months, I've become intrinsically radicalized towards the left by a large margin. for good reason, for very good reason, because the left seems like they have my interests at heart as a trans person, whereas the right explicitly does not. Which is really weird when somebody mentioned recently that there are people who are LGBTQIA+, who support Donald Trump. And that comes back to that streamer I mentioned before. It's like this person falls within a minority umbrella that would not be supported by Trump. And yet they voted for Trump. They voted against their own self-interest. And again, it comes back to that right-wing thing of they want to win points. They want to win. It's not about progression. It's not about getting to a better point in time. It's about claiming victory with the right. It's not about actually moving society forward in any reasonable way. That's why you constantly ask yourself, what are conservatives trying to conserve? 1950. That's my example that I always go to. They're trying to conserve 1950. They have this weirdly idealized version of 1950 that doesn't include any of the racism, any of the sexism. It's like this idealized world where everything is happy and sunshine and rainbows. Like they had this cartoony vision of a time 70 years ago where things were, idyllic. They were in the shadow of World War II and things were getting better again. That's what they want. That's the future the conservatives want. They want a world that is intrinsically backwards and is idealized in a way that it can never realistically happen. White, straight, nuclear families, boys in shorts, girls in skirts, men at work, women at home. Bingo. You have nailed it, Azera. That's the entire thing. That's the entire situation. I've seen that clip where they ask a bunch of Trump supporters, when was America great? Bingo. It's like, when was America great? Give me a clue. Give me a hint. When was America great? Where the only thing you hate is certain races and sexualities and the evil commies. Exactly. They had a defined villain that everybody could unite around, which was a thing. Like that was always a thing. It's like they want to be able to, I feel like they think that back then things were simpler. That's the thing. You hear this from a lot of older people. Things were easier back in the day. Things were simpler back in the day. But they weren't. They were just as complicated as they are now. We've just got new complications to deal with. Old complications have gone away and we've picked up new ones. And it comes back to that time as a flat circle thing. Like we're constantly seeing issues. Like I mentioned this to someone I was having a discussion with on Discord. Say back in the 1950s or 1930s or whenever, there was this fear among the populace that black men were going to barge into women's restrooms and rape them. Okay? That was the fear. Then the 1980s came around. Then there was this fear that gay men or lesbian women were going to barge into restrooms and rape men and women. Okay? Now, what's happening with the trans women discussion or the trans people discussion? It's usually trans women. But what's happening with the trans discussion? We're going to barge into public restrooms and rape women. That's the thing. Time's a flat circle. Everything's just going to repeat itself. What's it going to be in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? If you told anyone from the US that the 50s that colleges cost so much and take years to repay, you literally can't own a home on a minimum wage, they would think the commies won the Cold War. Yeah, America is anything but great. I can't believe I ever wanted to live there. I wanted to live in America. I wanted to move there because I thought, opportunity, and I thought things might be good, but now 300,000 COVID deaths because of irresponsibility. America's, a big hypocrisy, wanting to spread freedom but stepping on everyone that doesn't bend over to their imperialistic rule. Exactly. Feel like we are less likely to get nuked to oblivion now than then, but we've also pulled the curtain away from the racism, sexism, phobia bullshit that ordinary white middle class people ignored. And that comes back to what we mentioned before. Like, there's a lot of people who their idealized version, their Make America Great Again vision, is they get to be comfortable and everyone they hate gets to be uncomfortable and pushed to the side and ignored by society. There are some people who want to be left alone. My trans pride stars, I know. They're getting covered by the clouds. Fuck off. Go away. And the flag. Look, I got a flag over here too. I got a trans flag. You got to have that stuff in there. And yeah, I'll do a I'm going to do a thing with the color schemes with the whole stream situation. Your family is very conservative. You're the black sheep politically, but when you talk to them, their views are more left than right, but they think that their views skew right because of course their side would be right and good. I feel like that's why some people go right wing. I'm right because I'm right. But they never are. It reminds me of you know what it reminds me of? Let me think for a moment. Let me postulate. They're fireworks? No, they are stars. They're shooting stars. They're not fireworks. They're supposed to be shooting stars. What was I thinking? What was it? Because I started with one, and then I'm just like, you know, it would be cute if I made two more, and they were trans pride colors. I made one shooting star, which I should really try to find a way to animate those. That'd be cool. Trans drone bombers. They want the hierarchy to be maintained regardless of the harm it does to people on the rungs below them. Exactly. Jordan Peterson is so mean and zid pathetic. I don't really know that much about him. So that's why we're watching a video about him. Well, we were watching a video about him talking, and then we had to stop to try to break down everything he's saying, because everything he says, every other word is a buzzword. Every other word is him saying a thing that doesn't make any sense to me. You know? And I mean, I have a good vocabulary. Don't get me wrong. I have a very good vocabulary. I'm going to gloat about my vocabulary if you give me the opportunity. I do have to mildly apologize to Isaac Butterfield, though, the other night. Editing my latest video, I was very ableist. Very, very ableist. I think he's dyslexic. I genuinely do think Isaac Butterfield is dyslexic, because his spelling and grammar in the tweet that he posted towards the person who was fucking with Joe Rogan or whatever, he made a bunch of spelling and grammar errors, and then he referenced Kamala Harris's name and he called her Camilla Harris, and I said, fucking Christ, Butterfield, read. You know, and I'm like, that's pretty ableist against dyslexic people. I'm sorry. I really have to apologize for that formally. Looking back on it, I'm just like, oh fuck, I was mean towards dyslexic people. He might very well be dyslexic. So yeah, I do have to apologize for that. Not that anyone fucking cares, but anyway, yeah, it's kind of in poor taste. It was in poor taste, but I did nitpick his grammar and spelling in the tweet that he made. So I'll cut that out of the video, and we'll try to push that aside. Yeah, but yeah, like, although like the thing comes back to, and this is not a good tactic, but this is what the right does, you know, and especially what Butterfield does. Honestly, the right has a tendency to attack people based on things that are beyond their control. Go back to the Ben Shapiro thing. Elliot Page can't actually control the fact that they are trans. I can't control the fact that I'm trans. Oh, you like my bracelets? They're cute. Yeah, like, and people who are gay cannot control the fact that they are gay, but they will still criticize those people for those things, and they will still attack people for those things that are outside their realm of control, you know? But me doing the same thing to someone who has clearly got some kind of reading and pronunciation comprehension issues, me attacking that is not any better, but at the same time, it feels like a schoolyard situation. My kids do this, all right? My children do this to each other. My son will take a toy of his sister's, and then later on, his sister will take a toy of his. And they just back and forth bicker over this. You watch brothers and sisters bicker with each other. And it is a perfect compartmentalization, that is a very hard word to say, of the political discourse. You've got one side doing one thing and one side doing the other thing, and they never get along. They never get along because they are constantly going at each other all the time. So anyway, when you were in college, one of your philosophy professors held a discussion about the social benefit of conforming to views for the purposes of social cooperation, and we ended up pretty much agreeing, realizing that people in geographically righty communities are making the best self-interested choice by conforming to the dominant viewpoint. Fascism. That's fascism. That's what it comes down to. You know, if you want to have that comfortable society, it comes down to authoritarianism. You want everyone to be happy? You want everyone to be fine and dandy? Everyone to get along? Authoritarianism. Certain people need to be extinguished or put out of sight so that everyone else can be comfortable. That's authoritarianism. That's the explain like I'm five version of authoritarianism. Yeah, sibling rivalry is literally politics. Ugh, I don't know if I'm making good points here. You don't necessarily agree with that? Please enlighten me. Please counteract me there. I'm saying authoritarianism at a very basic level. There's far more to it than that. But Drunk Stream went, I was gonna buy a bottle of Moscato and plow through it tonight. I was gonna get on the Moscato, but I didn't. I relented. I didn't end up doing it, and I'm remiss for that. I really wanted to pop a cork tonight and just get drunk. Because, I mean, what have we said about Jordan Peterson so far? Anywho, I mean, realistically speaking, I could put you on Be Right Back for like maybe 10 minutes. There's a... Oh, you know what? They're probably closed. Hang on. They're probably closed. Yeah. There's one... I could maybe rush to it. There's one near me that's open till 9. It's 8:26 now. I could technically put you on Be Right Back for 10, 15 minutes. Go grab a bottle of alcohol and come back. Do I still need that rock? Pop a cork, as in a wine bottle. What does my face mask look like? My face mask? What do you mean face mask? I've only got those disposable blue ones. I have a black one around somewhere. There's just a black one. What rock? Do I need what rock? They realize society, bottom rungs will fall too. It's like cutting a branch you were sitting on. They don't realize that. Nazism is fascism. It is. Taken to extreme, yes, becomes authoritarianism. Yes. Hey Jeffrey, if you're going to Dan Murphy's, can you bring me a bottle of Moscato? He's probably already left. It's got a sparkly one. Oh, for correct. Yeah, I've only got like the black one because I was just saying to myself over and over again, I'm just like, I don't want to buy a face mask. I just don't want to put in the effort because all the cool ones I've seen are like $30, $40 for a tiny piece of fabric that goes over my face. And I'm just like, I can pay that same amount. Don't fucking go, you drug dealer. Jeffrey, go get me Moscato, damn it. Send him a DM. Just slide him a DM. If you're going to Dan Murphy's, DM Dan Murphy's. Anyway. Anyway. What were we on? Hello, Laprini. How you doing? So where were we? We were watching this. This is what we were watching. We were watching the oppression of the left's ideology. We've gone so far off track. I do not understand Jordan Peterson at all. I've tried.
It's a very vague claim, and it's a very dangerous claim in my estimation, because I believe that, and I believe the psychological research is clear on this. What we have, our cognitive abilities are nested inside stories.
That's a good point. That is actually a good point. Our cognitive abilities are based in... That's philosophical. That's some philosophical shit right there. You know, everything we do is stories. You know, we pass things down from generation to generation through storytelling. You know? So that's good. That's an actual valid point. I'm leftist. So you're not the biggest fan of living in constant fear of white teenage boys shooting up public spaces, but at least your commodity prices aren't as fucked as Australia's. Well, that's true.
Fundamentally narrative creatures. That's how our brains are organized. And...
Well, yes. But that's... I mean, I can't really say anything to that. Yes.
So to deny the validity of...
Leftist, not necessarily liberal. Progressivist.
Large-scale narratives is to deny the validity of the manner in which we organize our psyches.
That was just, again, it comes back to that fucking buzzwords thing. Did you make...
So to deny the...
Now I sound like Ben Shapiro.
Validity of large-scale narratives is to deny the validity of the manner in which we organize our psyches. And that's unbelievably destabilizing for people. I mean, first of all, look, the simplest story, in some sense, is that I'm at point A and I'm going to point B. And that's not as simple a story as it might sound, because it implies that you are somewhere and that you know it, you have a representation of it, geographically, let's say, socially, psychologically, you have some sense of who you are. But more importantly, you have some sense of who you are transforming yourself into. And so that...
Well, I mean, yeah, that's just another... that's just another example of... What was I going to say? That reminds me of the whole 7 basic stories situation. You know, there are 7 basic stories. It's not really related to it, but there are basically 7 narratives. There are 7 narratives, and all that changes are the details of those narratives. And that could be conveyed as reality within... You know, well, that can be conveyed as our actual reality. You know, there are only so many people, and they only have so many stories. Watch a soap opera. You know, have you guys ever watched a soap opera? Have you ever tried to watch a soap opera? They are insufferable, let me tell you. But they recycle the same few plots over and over again. And you'll see an ad for it on television and they'll say, oh, is such and such going to break up with such and such? Is such and such going to recover from their cancer? Like, they do the same very few basic plots over and over again. Soap operas recycle this stuff, and that's because the reality is like that. Everyone's individual lives are like that. You know, there are the same 7 basic plots. Home and Away, Neighbours, Bold and the Beautiful, like all of these shows, as unrealistic and wild as they are, as crazy and, boring and predictable as they are, that's the reality of the world we live in, taken to a warped extreme, taken to this weird, like, it feels otherworldly and unrealistic, but at the same time, it is kind of perfectly realistic. You know, these are actors on a screen who are often terrible actors because they have to churn out like 5 episodes of this show a week, so they have to constantly be on. You'll notice in soap operas there will be like a week where they're focusing on like a few characters, and then next week those characters will never show up because they had to film different scenes with different characters in order to break everybody up, so they couldn't, you know, otherwise everyone would be massively overworked. It'd be unreasonable to have like everyone on screen, every character in a soap opera. There's usually like, you know what, like 30 or 40 main characters in a soap opera, so they can jump between different plot lines. Anyway, but that's also kind of like, I mean, that's not exactly what he was saying there, but it's got me thinking about that now. Philosophically, we only have a few stories in our lives. We only really have a few stories in our lives that we repeat over and over, and just a few of the details change, like the names change or the locations change. We all do the same shit. So realistically, we're not all that different from each other. You know, when we have people who are politically one side or the other, they're living the same story as you are or someone similar to you. Generally speaking, they have the same experience. You know? They have the same experience. Can you stop? Anyway. I think Nazism is a form of extreme conservatism where people live in perfect Germania and imperfections are removed. That's called eugenicism. It's called eugenics. Thoughts on liberal socialism? People like Vorsh and Kyle Kuklinski. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Like I'm talking and I'm not focusing on chat. I mean, I like Vorsh for most of his takes. I feel the unfortunate need to defend his cheese pizza take, because I think people don't get it. At least what I've seen of it the first time that I saw it. The first time that I saw him mention it, I feel like a lot of people latched onto the cheese pizza part of things and not the child abuse part of things, which was the situation. Is like some people are completely ignoring the fact that the luxury designer goods that we consume on a day-to-day basis come from children being abused. There are child workers, child slaves out there in the world. And I think the viewpoint he was making is that people moralizing over cheese pizza, if you know what that means, CP. If people are moralizing over that but not the other stuff, then they are just as complicit in the production of this, in the production of this. They are just as complicit in child slave labor abuse. Do you get what I mean? That's the point. Fucking shut up, Botwick. For God's sake. I've got to learn to take that off when I end my multi-streams. That's the one thing I always forget to do. Fuck me dead. Oh, good Lord. Anyway, do you get the point I'm making? Kyle Kuklinski, I am not familiar with. The only thing I know of Kyle Kuklinski is that I follow an account called Old Kyle Kuklinski Tweets on Twitter. And it's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Kuklinski Kyle, Secular Talk. Where is it? If I go to Twitter, can I find it? Old Kuklinski. Old Kyle Kuklinski tweets. Where is it? It's stuff from like 2012, and some of it's absolutely wild, dude. Kyle Kuklinski from the Young Turks. Is he from the Young Turks? Dude, maybe don't make that joke, Martin. That's just like, no. That's a no. Don't do that. I'm going to give you a warning for that one. I don't like pineapple on pizza either. I don't like the discourse of pineapple on pizza. It is my one wish. You know, I'm not going to have a New Year's resolution other than proceed further in my transition because I deserve that. My one wish, I'm going to have a New Year's wish, okay? And that is that the pineapple pizza discourse disappears forever. And we never have it again. We never discuss this ever again. Please, put it on the shelf. Leave it there. I don't fucking care for it. He's independent. He's independent, but under the TYT umbrella. So is that kind of like with the PragerU situation? Because I know they have a number of commentators on PragerU. I know they have a number of commentators, and I believe Ben Shapiro, Lauren Chen, and a couple of others are on there that routinely make videos. And so they're like independent, but they... I forget what I was going to say. They're independent, but they make videos for it. Is it the same situation with like the Gravel Institute? You know, I haven't actually watched any videos on the Gravel Institute yet. And PragerU pisses me off to look at it, to even bear to look at it. I can't stand it. Used to watch Young Turks a lot, but the two main hosts you can't stand anymore. You mean, is Cenk one of them? Cenk Uygur? Or has he moved on from a hosting position? I don't know. I don't follow them. I know that... By the way, can I just bring up something here that you probably can't see, actually, because I'm in the way? Can I point out, like, I've got TubeBuddy over here. Look at these fucking tags, dude. If you have TubeBuddy installed, which is a YouTuber tool, it's just Jordan Peterson, Jordan Peterson, Jordan Peterson, Jordan Peterson, Jordan Peterson, Jordan... Anywho, not relevant. Uyghur and Anna Kasparian, okay. All I know of the Young Turks, realistically speaking, is... and yeah, if you download TubeBuddy, you could see my tags as well. All I really know of the Young Turks at the moment is Hassan Piker is, you know, of course, in some capacity, he's related to Cenk. He's his nephew. Jordan Peterson, young woman. That, like, looking at him... I mean, I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, but he does look a little bit like he would possibly be inappropriate around young women. Possibly. Like, he might not go far, but he might say something that would make a young woman uncomfortable in his presence. Has he transitioned? Wait, what? He went into politics and had to turn over ownership to participate. So wait, who did? What? What did I miss? What did I miss? Yeah, Jordan Peterson. Oh, did he transition? I feel like we shouldn't make that joke. Did you guys hear about Philosophy Tube? Did you guys hear about the Philosophy Tube thing, situation? Ollie Thorne. Let's bring this up really quick. This was very recent. This was like last month. He wasn't cancelled. Shut the fuck up. He was not cancelled. Oliver Thorne made a tweet, a tasteless tweet. I don't think this is offensive. I think this is people freaking the fuck out. I retweeted it, for God's sake. Non-partisan board calls on Trump to begin transition, and he goes, "That's a surprise. Best of luck to the president in her transition." It's not that bad. Shut the fuck up. I had to... I've seen people trying to cancel him for that. Yeah, like Vorsh said, Jesus fuck, like what the fuck happened here? That's a pun. It's a stupid joke. That is an actual funny transition joke. Okay, I will give Ollie complete credit. That is a funny transition joke. That is clever. I would make that joke. I made an even more tasteless transition joke about Ben and Abby Shapiro. I made a joke about the fact that Abby just looks like if Ben transitioned. Except if the transition process made her taller. I think Abby Shapiro is actually taller than Ben. Anyway, Cenk had to divest from TYT ownership to participate in a Senate race. Oh, because he actually got into legitimate political stuff. Okay. Ben is shorter. Of course he's like 4'11". Anyway, short kings. What a simp. If you were under the influence, you made that joke. You assume it's a common tag because Jordan Peterson clickbait videos are all about owning young hyper victims. Ugh. Did he actually do a thing, or is he getting read over Contra or something? Oh yeah, the reason ContraPoints got cancelled because of what is it called? What's his name? Buck Angel. because of Buck Angel acting in a voice acting for 10 seconds in Opulence, which, might I add, is a masterpiece of a video. I highly recommend, if you have not watched Opulence, you need to watch Opulence. That is a good video. Absolutely masterwork. Anyway, I feel like we've learned almost nothing about Peterson tonight. I've learned a bit. I've learned a little bit. I get a bit of like what he's about, sort of, but I still don't. You know, he's definitely one of those people, from what I can discern, is that Jordan Peterson is someone who has a lot of words, a lot of opinions, and mixes those words into his opinions to hopefully spread misinformation and lead his audience down a dark path. Possibly. And there are a lot of people who are stans for Jordan Peterson. A lot of big words. He uses a lot of big words. He filibusters his actual points. A lot of syllables. Yes. And I mean, I'm guilty of this. Sometimes I will use big words and I'm just like, did they know what I'm talking about? I just threw a big word in there because I liked it. And I've got to learn not to do that, because I want to be an accessible streamer and YouTuber. I want people to watch me and be like, oh, I don't need to look up what she said. You know, I understood that. That would be my goal, is to put out content that is accessible and understandable. You really wish you found more channels that do this type of chatting about substantive topics, so this means a lot. Well, that's good. Thank you. Thank you, Reaper. I'm liking this format. I'm enjoying doing this, because I've dabbled in the past in just chatting, and I have found while doing gaming streams that I will get into heavy topics and have to pause the game or stop what I'm doing to actually diverge into a topic and actually delve into things and discuss things. And I'll end up going onto Google and looking things up, and I am finding that I'm enjoying being able to just topicize, which is not a word, but just discuss topics.
Much obliged.
Hey, Sol, thank you for the 100 bits. Thank you.
Radiant salute.
Radiant salute. You use the word deuteragonist a lot in the Twin Mirror write-up. I feel like that one might be pretty easy to infer what it means. But if you don't give any context for it, it can become a bit confusing. We've been going for almost 3 hours. I'm not finished yet. There's still some more stuff I want to talk about. We may come back to Peterson, because I think there's some good content here that I could use for videos. So we may come back to this, or we may go on to the Cyberpunk thing, because we know my YouTube channel loves when I put up a Cyberpunk video. Absolutely loves it. 50% dislike, gang. How's my Ben Shapiro video doing? How's my Ben Shabibo video doing? 99 views, 21 comments, 65.2% like-dislike ratio. Not bad. Are there any held for review comments? No, there's not. Damn, dude, that sucks. Can I bring up one of my favorite comments that came up as a result of this video? Can I bring this up really quickly? If I go to this this is my latest video, Ben Shapiro's Rage over Elliot Page. This is fucking classic. If I go by newest first. Oh no, there it is. Ben Shapiro is awesome. PragerU is also awesome. There are genders. Paige is not just changing her name. She/he is denying science which says there are genders. Not like calling yourself a plumber, since that is a profession, not a gender. This commentator, Rogue B, I like how she used an asterisk, is a hater, foul-mouthed, and anti-religious who supports dictating how people think and talk. Never in that did I say that, by the way. Never did I dictate how people should think and talk. Never once. Which I consider evil. Oh, you consider it evil. So sorry I watched this. Thank you, Ben Shapiro, for speaking reason. What reason? I debunked every point he made in that video as illogical and unreasonable, and I made a response because I was just snappy. I was feeling snappy. I'm not going to show up. But yeah, the projection is fucking strong. This was you want to know what this was? Not calling yourself a plumber, since that is a profession. That was a stupid analogy, because all Ben Shapiro does is make stupid analogies. That was the point I was making. Jesus fucking Christ. How could anyone not see this? I wonder, she watched far enough to get to the plumber point. I wonder if she watched the whole video. Because I'll take, thank you for the engagement. Thank you for the view, Connie, who put your full name out there on the internet on YouTube. By the way, don't do that. That's a dumb fucking move. Not trying to dox or anything, but Jesus Christ, don't be stupid. Is a hater, foul-mouthed and anti-religious. I will fully cop to that. Of course. I mentioned before how I am explicitly anti-theist. I am not just atheist, I am anti-theist. I dislike the very concept of religion and all the ills that it has brought the world. If you speak really fast and sound very confident, people tend to believe it. Exactly. Like, that's just how right-wing grifters tend to work. And left-wing grifters. There's a lot of grifters out there. But anyway, it is 8:46 p.m. It's getting close to 9 p.m., as you might have inferred by the fact that I said it is 8:46 p.m. Anyway, I am going to take a quick break, grab something to eat. You can do the same if you wish. Don't go anywhere. I will leave you with some Harris Heller's stream beats, if you would like to. And, I mean, we might read this after we come back. That's not what I wanted to press. Anyway, be right back. I don't think that mutes my audio. No, it doesn't. Okay. I did that on purpose. It's almost 2 a.m. for you. Oh, my gosh. I've been staying up later and later. I've been really bad for it. Anyway, I will leave you with some music, and I'll come back shortly. kind of just want to vibe to this music, honestly. This ain't bad. This ain't bad. I mean, I have some questionable thoughts about Harris Heller as a person, not gonna lie. I've read some things about his connections and his family that may not be based in reality. I don't know. But the music's alright. You know? The music's okay. Anywho, how are you guys going? What's going on? So, we have been reading about Jordan Peterson tonight. We are at 6 out of 5 sub goal for the day. Holy shit. And I would just like to remind you all, if you are chilling out here and you're hanging out and you're enjoying the show and you're enjoying listening to my lovely, profane Australian fucking voice, hit the follow button if you have not already. Subscribe if you feel like supporting the channel, or, you know, check me out on Coffee, Patreon, wherever. And don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, where you will see some highlights from this stream and other streams going up within the week ahead. Okay, but I am worried. I am worried about the sub goal is 615. Yeah, let's go for it. It is a bit confusing because it's got like that straight line thing. I like the aesthetic of that straight line instead of a slash. But anyway, I mean, the Discord thing's got the slash, but that has to be there. Anyway, if you are not in the Discord, join the Discord. Anyway, 615 would be a good goal to strive for. Who knows? Maybe if I continue... Can you stop knocking the fucking table, cat? Hey, Fox, welcome back. What's up, Jeff? I wanted you to get me some Moscato, but you were gone by the time I asked. Not that it would be reasonable for you to get it to me, but... Anyway, just get the gun. You know I keep that thang on me. Fucking take him out, I swear to God. You know what else I dug out today? You might have seen this on my Twitter, my cane. You like my cane? It's just trashy smoke shop garbage. But, oh look. It's dusty as fuck, look at this. I tried to clean it. But anywho. That's my cane. It's not made for taking any human's weight. Alright, here's Cat. Hang on a sec. There is Cat. I don't have a zoom button anymore, so you're just gonna have to deal with that. Why does that remind you of Kane from Command and Conquer? Because it's called a cane? Anyway, that's enough of that. Yeah, we'll come back to you, Harris Heller. Probably. Now, we've only, I don't want to go past 10 o'clock. I would like to use some time before midnight to do the rest of the edit on my next video and then get hopefully started on the one after that, because I really want to keep churning these videos out daily, preferably. Because if I can keep videos going daily and keep bringing attention to my YouTube channel, I can hopefully grow that and actually use that to grow this, you know? Fingers crossed. Growth is the goal right now. I want everything to get bigger, including my tits, which are non-existent, by the way. Somebody was in here in chat before calling me a dude with tits, and I am flattered, quite honestly, that you thought my padded sports bra was real tits. Like, mate... I've got at best, I shouldn't touch that whole area on stream, but anyway, Jesus Christ, I am a degenerate. What was I saying? Fuck, I've forgotten. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. I had a point. Fuck it. Personalities. No, I'm not SETI.
Welcome to the compound.
Feck this site, dude. I agree. Fuck Twitch. How you doing, Feck? What's going on? Did I have fun work? Nah, it was kind of average. Hey, oh, it was K-Fadge that subbed. Hell, I just saw that in the event list. Thank you so much. Thank you, dude. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a lovely one. What was I saying? I had a point to make. Fuck. I had a point to make. Boobies are great. They are amazing. And I hope to have some... Oh, yeah. About this situation. I did used to train chest much harder than I used to, so I had some pecs. I had some... Oh, thank you for complimenting my hair, Sheldon. I had some pecs, and since transitioning, I have dropped my chest regimen quite a bit, and I think it's gone a little bit just like the muscle's gone, and it's just gone like fatty, a little bit fatty. Don't make clips about me talking about titties, dude. And it's like that helps a little bit with the dysphoria, you know. There's still some chest there. cute bow. I wish it's not really a bow. It's like a little headband thing. I was looking at getting more, but anyway, we will talk about. Should we continue with Jordan Peterson? Should we continue? We've got like I said, we've got about an hour left. About an hour left before I end stream because I don't want to go all the way to midnight. And I'm not going to do Dead Space tonight. I might do it next week. I do have to get up reasonably early tomorrow. I was going to say, do we do more Jordan Peterson or... let me just find it before I go on. I've closed my LibreOffice file for some reason. Yes, I use LibreOffice. I do not use Word. Or do we do this article here? I'm just getting up early because the kids are going to be here. Do we do this one? So we can continue looking. We could look at this article about Jordan Peterson, custodian of the patriarchy, why Jordan Peterson is always wrong. Could keep reading his Wikipedia page. Or we could read about this. It's 9 p.m. here, yeah. Because this does interest me from a gaming perspective, from a gamer perspective. Much as I hate the term gamer, I don't identify as a gamer. I do not. I am an enlightened gaming enthusiast. I just sort of made a bubble in the side of my mouth as I said that, and it was like enthusiast. So that kind of ruined my whole thing. Anyway, I don't like the term gamer. It's stupid. The gamer's registered trademark of Jim Sterling. I'm pretty sure he made that term up long before I used it in that video. That was definitely not an original remark on my part, but I did come up with it on the fly. It's just not an original thought I had. Should we read about this or should we read more about Jordan Peterson? Pretentious game enthusiast. How pretentious, a game enthusiast. I am enthused about good video games. Once I'm done with Dead Space, I may take a break from the horror to try Hades. I don't know. Always joke about perpetual autism and shitpost most of the time. Well, we can come back to Jordan Peterson. I'm going to bookmark these. I'm going to put these in video research, in my video research bookmark folder. We can come back to these. I don't think we're done with Jordan Peterson yet. We'll keep doing that. We'll keep doing Jordan Peterson streams. And maybe more Ben Shapiro, maybe more Steven. We've got to do some Steven Crowder, Lauren Chen. Hopefully next stream. I would really like, I'm going to use the rest of the week because I'll try to break down my schedule when I've got the kids here. I've got to be a parent until 7:30 p.m., which is why I no longer do streams at the latter half of the week because they do not go to bed on time for me to get on stream. Otherwise, I would be doing late night streams. Maybe when they're a bit older or maybe when the schedule's changed a bit or something, I can do more streams in the week, but at the moment it's just 4 days a week. So for now, this is what we're doing. But, next Sunday we may come back to more intrinsically political stuff. Jordan Peterson, Lauren Chen, Steven Crowder. Those are three names off the top of my head. Ariel Scarcella, I think, and whoever else that I want to watch some videos of theirs and see if I can deduce what the fuck they're about as well. I'm looking at right-wing commentators from the perspective of a left-wing presence on the internet. I want to look at this stuff and say, oh, okay, here's why you're wrong. Anyway, they won't shut the fuck up when they sleep. Yeah, well, no, they cause a bunch of fuss. My daughter never thinks she's tired enough for sleep at bedtime, and my son constantly whinges because my daughter decides to stay in her bed and play, and I live in a tiny unit, so they share a bedroom. Anyway, it's a nightmare. I am not privileged enough for a 3-bedroom house, thank you very much. Cyberpunk 2077 has mastered parasocial advertising as only the best influencers can. The game's Twitter account swaps jokes with Elon Musk, and despite tech billionaire Musk fitting the cliched description of many cyberpunk villains, both Musk and 2077 share a similar online presence, stoking controversy and gaining legions of loyal defenders with every tweet. The game's marketing has a Fred Durst-esque faux edginess persona that has defined the conversation around the game. Cyberpunk already has one of the 20 most followed gaming subreddits, and it's not even out yet. This is kind of a problem. And it has been a problem for a while, is the fact that this game is so insanely... I don't own a house. This game is so insanely popular without even being out yet. And it has got reviews. But again, I explored my skepticism on the review process the other night, where I said that reviewers are not paid off, but they do go through two things. First of all, especially with a game this big, they have to crunch through the game, which changes their experience of it. You know, their first playthrough of the game, not only is it a pre-release copy without all of the bug fixes, so you're going to have a bunch of bugs in it, which is going to color their perception, and they feel compelled to give the game a good review so that they can get further review copies and keep a good standing within the industry. They are not bribed, like reviewers are not paid to make good reviews of games. Like people who work for IGN are not paid to put out good reviews of Cyberpunk 2077, but they're going to because they want to maintain good relations with CD Projekt Red and then with Ubisoft and with Activision and all of those. They are going to put out glowing reviews of these big ticket titles in order to maintain relations. It's less important to them when it comes to lower end titles. So don't trust the review process is my opinion. Moist Critical made a video saying this is the second coming of Jesus and warning that the game might buckle under the weight of its own hype. I already put out that video months ago. Like back before I was like properly getting the whole girl thing down. Feck, there you go. I hope you're doing well. I put out a video about that ages ago. Literally. Where is it? Where is it? Not the delays. Will Cyberpunk 2077 be good? Soul Reaper. There you go. Best redeem ever. This one. I put this one out. It got a lot of dislikes. Where is it? Where's the dislikes ratio on it? Fuck. It's got 627 views. This video performed well. I would like to get more of this. And it's got chapter marks and everything. God, I look dead behind the eyes there. This is like very early transition stuff. This is weird to look at even now. This is only a couple of months ago. I looked like that before I was really fully embracing the femme. Anyway, look at the dislike ratio. This is what I mean. The Cyberpunk fanboys do not like you saying anything negative about the game. And I came out with a video that's like, this game is going to be a letdown. No matter how technically good Cyberpunk is, it's never going to be as good as the fanboys want it to be. By the way, I was fangirling like crazy. I had the fucking hoodie. Well, it's not a hoodie. I had the sweater. I love that sweater, actually. It's my first dysphoria sweater. I would wear it all the time so people wouldn't see my body. Now I get around in dresses and I don't care what people think of me. I really want to buy more dresses. Anyway. But yeah, like... let's just read the description, which gives you a basic synopsis. Video games have been continually expanding medium since their inception, growing in complexity and cost since the origin of the concept. Over time, gamers have become obsessed with the hype train, keenly awaiting news on their favorite upcoming releases, blowing their own expectations out of proportion and being let down when their unrealistic standards aren't met. Cyberpunk 2077 is undoubtedly one of the biggest victims of a massive hype train. CDPR seemingly set the standard for open-world story-driven, feature-laden video gaming back in 2015 with The Witcher 3. 3 years prior, they announced Cyberpunk. I think it was actually 2 years prior. I think it was 2013 they announced it, along with a teaser trailer giving us a glimpse into this Blade Runner-esque dystopian sci-fi future, and the hype began. With the release of Witcher 3, everyone's expectations of CDPR blew up massively, and thus the pressure was on to make sure CP 2077 was everything gamers expected it to be. We're now less than a month out from the game's release. This was before the latest delay, mind you. This was still scheduled for November at the time, and then it got pushed back to December 2012. Yeah, I think it was actually, you know what, color sepia. Let's have a look. What does that button do? Oh, it does this. Ooh. If memory serves, but the teaser was extremely vague. Yeah, that's right. It was like was one of those trailers where they've built a scene that's like a diorama. That's what they did. They built a scene that was like a diorama. You have the girl sitting on the street. She's in like a very skimpy costume and she's got arm blades out. She's just killed someone and she's surrounded by cops. And the scene is just literally like panning shots and showing off like finer details and all this sort of stuff. And it wasn't an actual like detailed trailer in any capacity. But yeah, I made a video about this already. And like I already know that the expectation is like gamers are going to want this game to be... Look at this. It has 63 comments. God, have I missed any? What are the comments since like Mantis Blades and Max Tack was about to pump in the head? Yeah. Oh yeah, here's this idiot. You're right. My priorities don't lie with the devs. They chose that job. Yeah, no, that's a shit argument. That's a dog shit argument. You won't live up to the hype. It's like, well, we know that. We knew that already. I hate this. Crunch is not a concept unique to the game industry. Yeah, we know. That's the problem. Oh yeah, the song in, I'm not going to play it because DMCA. It's like, it is mandatory overtime. Why are they defending this? This has been doubters everywhere. The game's not going to be that good, dude. Yeah, they chose the job, so they have to deal with the crunch. They fucking shouldn't. That's the issue, dipshit. You have 2 subscribers. Shut your fucking mouth. Anyway. Yeah, the game is never going to match up to what people expect it to be. Don't get me wrong, The Witcher 3 is fucking good. I like it. But it has a lot of flaws. It's, again, one of those games that's nowhere near as good as everyone makes it out to be. It's a game that has a ton of flaws in it. It's a very good game, but so many people get so caught up in the hype. There is a person who I know of in the streaming space who is an ardent defender of the Avengers game. They refuse to accept any criticism. They lash out at people who are angry at the fact that the Avengers game exists. They are upset like crazy whenever someone says anything negative about it. And it pisses me off because the Avengers game is demonstrably bad. It is an explicitly bad game on an objective level. Okay? This person is subjectively being so ignorant of everything wrong with that game just so they can fanboy over it. That's what's happening here. Okay? I mean, I don't think Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be anywhere near as bad as the Avengers. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be anywhere near as bad as that. But it's not going to be as good as everyone says it is. And there's so many fanboys that are going to overlook every single flaw in order to fanboy over it harder. And they're going to be disappointed because they've put this thing on such a high pedestal. Why is the Avengers a bad game? Dude, I would be here for the rest of the night explaining all the issues. I'm not going into that. If you want to know why Avengers is a bad game, look up virtually any review of it. That'll cover it. Honestly, there is so much wrong with the Avengers game. It's so much. It's just not... It's a failure of the live service model, first and foremost. It is an absolute abject failure of the live service model. And the live service model itself has routinely been shown to not work. And yet they won't let it die because there is a lot of potential in that model for profit. So publishing houses are not going to let it die until every company can put out their own Destiny. Their own Destiny 2, I suppose, because Destiny 2 is the big one. Or their own Fortnite might be a better example, because Fortnite's a live service. But I mean, in specifically in the vein of like live service, squad-based, cooperative multiplayer, you know? You can't watch the Avengers game being played because of how iconic the live-action voices are and the characters. That's another thing. You know, the iconic... Like, Square Enix specifically went out of the way... I'm explaining it anyway, for fuck's sake. Square Enix went out of their way to create budget versions of the movie characters for their game. They blatantly created budget versions of the movie characters for the Avengers game. Destiny was a rip-off of Borderlands anyway. Probably was. I haven't played enough of Borderlands to make that... Or Destiny to make that conclusion. I enjoyed a little bit of Destiny. I did not enjoy Borderlands, but it was mostly the art style. The art style of Borderlands pisses me off because it's in space. It's in space. Make shit games, skimp on content, 3, 4, profit. Blame fans for not 5. Blame fans for not liking it. Yeah. God, yeah. Avengers is just a bad game. It just is. I'm not going to go into it any further. In the same reason, I am not going to go into sports, or over here if you want. Legitimately, like you cannot have a sports conversation with me even beyond this shit. I tune out. Anyway, I legitimately do not give a solitary fuck about sports. Anyway, okay, so my skepticism... Oh, hang on, I'm reading the article. My skepticism started when the game revealed its controversial mix-it-up promotional poster back in June 2019. This poster features a feminine model with what can only be described as a huge bulging penis. That is a huge bulging penis. Here's the thing. Okay, when this controversy first started, the thing with the huge bulging penis, that's going to go in the YouTube tags. The thing with the huge bulging penis model, mix it up, flavor drink, whatever. The thing with all of that is that I first saw this from an artistic perspective, looking at the game. I'm looking at this hyper-capitalistic culture where we are 57 years in the future as of this game, and transgender people are so normalized that they are being manipulated and abused and exploited as people are now, as cis people are now. You know, sexuality, particularly heterosexuality, and we're moving more into homosexuality in advertising, is being exploited for the sake of profit. That's what I'm seeing with this. That's my original interpretation. You're all for huge bulging penis, but they didn't do this right. But yeah, the whole thing with mix it up and all of that is probably what a lot of people were upset by. The entire point of this ad is to be provocative. That is another thing. Is like in the context of the setting, it feels like this is an edgy ad campaign already. Like inside of Cyberpunk, this is an ad campaign that is probably getting controversy in universe. And again, yeah, that's not justification, but there's no justification for Trevor in GTA going into Franklin's front yard and saying, "What's up, my N-word?" Like he literally says, "My N-word." And stuff like that. It's another example of that kind of thing. Like you can argue the artistic viewpoint, but like you've said, they just objectify trans people without giving any supporting trans roles. They don't get to just say the fetish culture of 2077 is bulging penises on all genders without earning it. Want big dick, don't get me wrong, but not that much. There's limitations. When is the joke about customizing the 20-inch cyber dong going to make an appearance? That is mentioned in here. But yeah, while a cutting critique of queer commodification might have been part of the idea's nucleus, the outcome is a commodification itself, objectifying trans people as creatures of deviance defined by their genitals and suitable only for sexualization or rejection. That is the problem. CDPR's marketing arm already had a history of transphobic incidents before the poster got revealed. In September 2018, they tweeted a tired "Did you just assume my gender?" joke. That's, yeah. This shit is obnoxious. There was another joke recently by someone else that was a helicopter joke, attack helicopter joke, that sort of thing. A month later, the Twitter account for the digital storefront GOG hijacked a trans-positive hashtag to make a joke about PC games. So we got this thing. GOG Twitter account posts transphobic pun, then deletes it. What'd they say? Classic PC games hashtag won't be erased on our watch. Yeah, how's that for some use of hashtags? Mate. Oof. Anyway, earlier in 2018, that account had tweeted a gravestone marked with "Games journalism dead by suicide," with the date of death corresponding with the launch of Gamergate. Holy fuck. What are we, like 3 paragraphs in? Fuck me dead. On Gamergate, a letter from the editor. I'm not reading all that. I'm not reading all that. I'm happy for you, or I'm sorry that happened. After criticism, the account deleted that post and apologized. GOG's community manager got fired over those tweets, but it's not about specific admins being Fall Guys. See, the Fall Guys Twitter account has even had some controversy about stuff. The Fall Guys community manager, what's his name? Oliver, age 24. It's about the pervasive toxic attitudes that have long swirled around Cyberpunk, attitudes that only get stronger as the game's release nears, and CDPR appeals more and more to their chosen market of Elon Musk superfans. Like, these were meant as jokes, but because it's about a particular topic, people lose their shit no matter what gets said. It's like using the Me Too hashtag to promote a sim game. Wasn't there something else with that as well? There was another hashtag. There was another hashtag a little while ago that was being... Oh, well, you know what? Anytime there's a hashtag for a bad thing. There's a hashtag for TERFs. There's a hashtag for whatever. They get flooded with K-pop stands posting their fan cams. If I'm 100% charitable, if I'm maximally charitable to the point where clothing and fashion is completely divorced from gender expression, then I could believe that image to be of a trans man who is dressed fashionably, but I'm not buying it without a good pitch. Yeah, I mean, it's very complicated. That's like... Or like, it's very complicated in the context of 2077. Right now, it's not. Right now, it comes across as fetishization. elongated muskrat. Some particular subjects garner more attention and ridicule. That is true. But you know what sucks is, like, I was looking forward to this. That first trailer for this game is fucking amazing. Oh, not first trailer. The first like CGI trailer where they've got that song by Spoiler or Hyper, DJ Hyper. The song is called Spoiler, I think. That trailer is fucking amazing, and I'm just like, I really want to play that game, but now so much negativity has surrounded it that I'm just like, I just can't in good faith pick it up, at least new. And I'll wait until I see reviews from people I trust. Angry Joe, Moist Critical, he's probably definitely going to do a review on it. Maybe, I doubt Jim Sterling is going to play it. Skill Up, I might watch Skill Up's review because he got a review copy. Anyway, while you don't believe CDPR's stated intentions around the Mix It Up poster, that didn't mean they couldn't become true. When I was a kid, trans stories on televisions and in movies were hard to come by. That is true. Like, even now, trans stories are often, like they mentioned it here, the trans experience and things that were designed to market. Body switching stories, boys being made to dress up as girls and given makeovers as punishments, boys being pushed into the unspeakable horror of the girls' bathroom, like all of this stuff. This is still happening. This is still a normal thing that happens in media, especially kids media. Anyway, the only thing that could redeem this game is if you could lead a socialist uprising, and I'm 99% sure that's not going to come from a libertarian fetish sandbox. Okay, the poster seemed tied to the then-rumored, now-confirmed prospect of creating a protagonist similar to the character in the poster. It seemed like the closest big-budget games would ever get to embracing a trans character, even if it had to sit alongside exploitation dressed up as social commentary and come with humiliation disguised as humor as well. I'm drinking coffee. Boys being forced into the girls' bathrooms. Is this journalist mentally 5 years old? No. That's what they were saying. Is like, this was what was being represented as trans media. Like, this was what you had to see. If you wanted trans stories, you had to look for it you had to look for things that could be tied to trans identity. So they're saying that, like, media would push this thing of, like, someone switching bodies, boys being made to dress up as girls and being given makeovers as a punishment, boys being pushed into the unspeakable horror of the girls' bathroom. These are things that popped up in media 20-something years ago or more as a way to, like, well, like, they weren't explicitly trying to discredit trans people. They weren't trying to tear down trans people with these things. But you look at it now and they're kind of fucked up. Like, you look at that kind of stuff in the context of you know, a broader spectrum, a broader context, as like, okay, that's kind of messed up that the idea of a boy being in a girl's restroom is like a terrifying thing, or a boy having a makeover and wearing dresses is a terrifying thing. A boy being in a girl's body, terrifying. Like, it's like, that's usually what has been portrayed in media. There was actually a show recently, which I haven't watched, which is actually about, or A Punishment, yeah, which is about a transgender high school student. I haven't watched it, but it's apparently the protagonist is actually a trans girl who is, you know, school age, and it's about their struggle and their story at high school, going through high school as a transgender kid. But I don't know. I've heard questionable things about it, like it doesn't get everything right, you know, etc., etc. When they're little, they're afraid of boys being forced to go into the girls' bathroom. When they're grown up, they're afraid of boys choosing to go into the girls' bathroom. Exactly. Anyway, because of all that, Mix It Up has arguably become the single most divisive, most controversial moment of Cyberpunk 2077's marketing, yet it's the one they've decided to build around. Since then, the game's official Twitter account has joked about cancelling their FIFA 78 pre-order due to the lack of vagina options. There's a lack of vagina options in FIFA 78. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Hang on. There's something on my tongue. Hang on. I'll get there. Don't worry. I got this. It's all good. Felt like a little, like it felt like an eyelash hair or something. It's gross. I couldn't see anything, but it's gone now. So let's hope I didn't just swallow a hair. Again, tying any positive representation of trans people to mockery, exploitation, and humiliation. CDPR also included a cisgender cosplayer as the Mix It Up girl among their cosplay contest finalists. That's a bit like, I don't know. Is it still listed here, I wonder? Tune in today. Oh, hang on. Did they have pictures that show you the actual finalists? I think they might have. I wonder if they, last but not least, Chromantical model. Oh, there we go. Oh, I remember this. God, that was her. That was a choice. That's a choice. Oh, holy shit. Fuck. That is, okay. At first I was like, okay, a cis person cosplaying as a trans model, who cares? I forgot about that. She's put a light there. She's put a light up dildo there. Trans women are not a fucking costume. Oh my god. That is a fat yikes. That is a yikes. Oh, Jesus. You know what she said though? Oh, for fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. The D is glowing blue from the inside. Anyway, I think it's mentioned here later on, maybe. Oh yeah, she goes, Yugoro Forge, the cosplayer in question, tweeted that her cosplays are beyond politics. Let me actually. Her costumes are beyond politics. Oh, for fuck's sake. So where'd she go? Blah, 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 blah. Cosplays are beyond politics. I'm sorry, but the moment you decided to do that costume, it's not. Especially when you did the dick. Especially when you did the glowing penis. That is no longer beyond politics. That's just not the thing. If you decide to dress up as a character that is not controversial, I'll give you credit that that's not political. But what you decided to do was dress up as a trans character with a glowing penis. That's yikes. From the inside. Not sure how you get to declare yourself or your art beyond politics. That's the thing. Like, this comes back to the whole video games shouldn't be political thing. It's like, just because you perceive a video game is not political, like a Tom Clancy video game, for fuck's sake. I don't know how anyone was like I think Ubisoft actually legitimately said, I think Ubisoft legitimately said that The Division was not a political video game. Like, fucking Christ, dude, are you serious? Everything is inherently political. It is. At its very core, everything is political. Many cis men and women face acts of harassment. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Oh my god. When pushed on the fact that a Cyberpunk 2077 costume dehumanized trans people who are already subject to violence so frequently, she replied, many cis men and women face acts of harassment and violence on a daily basis. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up. Oh my god, what an ignorant fuckwit. Are you kidding? Are you fucking kidding? And then she goes on to mention stuff that doesn't affect her in any way, shape, or form. You really missed the point. Not because they're cis, it's usually by the same people who hate trans people. Might be one of the worst. Yep, fucking Christ. She just doesn't get the point. Does not get the point. Holy shit, dude. That is so... Oh my god. That reminds me of? That reminds me of? When George Floyd was recently deceased, and Black Lives Matter had kicked off for about a month, I think. We'll go back to Isaac Butterfield for a second. He put out a video. All Lives Matter is part of this. He put out a video discussing that very same thing. He put out a video saying racist crime happens against white people. It's like white people are suffering too. And I've mentioned this before. He was talking about issues that were happening over in South Africa. He's in Australia. He's talking about issues that are happening over in South Africa to a minority of people over there. Meanwhile, he never said anything of the sort, any commentary of any sort about the violence that actually happens in Australia, sorry about the mic, towards Aboriginal people, towards Asian people, towards just people of colour in Australia, are routinely subjected to abuse, harassment, violence. But he decided it was pertinent, in the light of the death of George Floyd, to make a video about violence happening to white people in South Africa. This is what they do. They try to dismiss away saying, oh, well, you might be having issues, trans people, but cis people have issues too. You're missing the point. Anyway. Conviction rates in the US, as far as I'm aware, for similar crimes are twice the conviction rate for PSE. Do you know why that is? Do you want to know why crime rates in black communities are higher? Do you want to know the actual reason? It is a direct result of colonialization. That's why. You know, because white people put black people in ghettos. And they're over-policed. They're over-policed. Exactly. And they force them into situations where the majority of these people are impoverished and have no resort left but crime. They have to steal to survive. They sometimes have to fight, literally, physically, to survive. And they get into situations, a lot of them are undereducated, you know? And this is a direct result of white colonialism. This is a direct result of actual entrenched, institutionalized white supremacy. This is what actual racism is. The police look more like an occupying army as opposed to a local approachable police force / public defenders. Yeah. What the problem is with the majority, like whenever somebody says, oh, what about the black on black crime? The reason the black on black crime happens is because of white people. Because white people put them there in that situation. They underfunded their entire communities, put them in absolute slums, destroyed their education. You know, that's not really what we were talking about, but let's just get that out of the way right now. Anyone who mentions any of that sort of shit does not understand exactly why it's happening. Just because black people have higher crime rates does not mean it is their fault that that happens. It is true, but the reason it is true is because it is directly the fault of you, Ben Shapiro. You're at fault. Or people like him. Or people that pay him. And Steven Crowder. And all that. People that routinely bring up these points. Isaac Butterfield, again, did that same thing. Brought up the crime rates. Black on black violence is a deflection. It is. It is. Shall we continue? We'll stop getting distracted. ACAB, fuck 12. Anyway. Two-tier criminal justice system where if you're rich, getting pulled up for crimes becomes a minor inconvenience or the price of admission. Yeah, the only difference between like crime and the punishment thereof is for the poor. Rich people don't have to worry about it. With such a long hyped run up to release, Cyberpunk has consistently kept itself in the headlines with gameplay demos and Night City preview footage. Even here, where CDPR has complete control over its content, it highlights and has the space to put it in context. The marketing has catered to the edgier part of the fan base. I'm not even sure if the full game will be so edgy, but it's clear CDPR wants its fans to think it will be. After we solve police on black violence, exactly. They use that black on black violence thing to justify cops shooting teenage black boys in the back. Fuck 12. I can't remember what fuck 12 means, honestly. I just know it's another sentiment towards cops. Another negative sentiment towards cops, which is entirely deserved. Fuck cops. Defenders of Cyberpunk 2077 may point to its character creator, one of the most heavily showcased features pre-release, which doesn't tie gender to genitalia. It's true that this means the game provides the opportunity to create a trans protagonist, however, gender in the game is still tied to voice. Meaning if you want to be referred to as a woman, you need to select the voice actor with a typically feminine voice. For me, and in my experience, many other trans people voices. Oh, I see what they mean here. So when you choose your voice, you are gendered based on your voice, which is a thing that trans people actually have a serious problem with. Me personally, like I hate speaking to new people because I'm worried it's like I'm trying my best to present feminine, and I think I get away with it, honestly, some days. But the moment I speak, I'm like, oh god, they're gonna clock me. Even though I've heard a lot of people recently who I could otherwise assume are cis women who've had deeper voices. You know, going around delivering food, I'll meet someone, I'll deliver their food, and they'll speak to me, and they're like, oh, thank you. And I hear their voice, and they're just like, they got a bit of a deeper tone to them. Women can have deep voices, cis women. But I still feel like my voice definitely gives me away. Which is it's an unfortunate pain. Anyway, voice is more important than genitalia. Exactly. No one sees what's in my pants, but everyone hears my voice. To truly create a character who is like me, I want to create a more typically male voice in a typically female body. The junk, especially in a first-person game, isn't that important to me. Why is that a thing? Why is the genitalia even a thing? It has physics. The penis has physics, by the way. I don't understand this. Like, it comes back to the Red Dead Redemption 2 thing, where it's like they added horse balls shrinking in the snow. Who needs that detail? No one needs that detail. Nobody asked for that, honestly. Gag penis. The fact Cyberpunk fixated on the junk as the ultimate feature of a trans person yet given no consideration for voice and then repeatedly joked about customizable genitals in its marketing efforts shows the complete lack of trans perspective in both the design and the advertising of the game. It's worth noting that for the character creator, which prides itself on inclusivity and depth of customization, there's been nothing said of non-binary options. Unfortunately. Genital physics, yeah, like there's actually penis physics. So I'm guessing you can strip naked and swing your dong around, and maybe if you're in first person you can look down and see it. I don't know. But I'm like, why? What's the point of that? 99% of penis in pop culture is for the lols. Again, Trevor in GTA. There's a segment where he wakes up in a dress and he has no underwear on and his dong's just hanging out there. As well as its criticism, this part gets me, as well as its criticism for its depiction of trans folks, Cyberpunk has also come under fire for its use of racist imagery. The game includes the Voodoo Boys, who in the original board game were a white gang who dressed in Haitian gear as a commentary on cultural appropriation, but in 2077 are actual black Haitians and racial stereotypes. The Asian gang, Tiger Claws, are a strange amalgamation of various East Asian cultures, all armed with swords, despite the high-tech advancements of their world. I mean, dude. 2077's advertising has been saying the quiet part loud. It has maintained the spiky, anti-SJW, anti-woke persona through its marketing campaign, careful to always pepper any diverse character's inclusion with stereotyping or humor designed to mock its own ideas. As such, it has owned an army of fans who will defend it from criticism, whether that be from accusations of transphobia, racism, or even crunch. This is what annoys me so much. They'll go so far as to defend fucking crunch, dude. You know what I mean? Asians must use katanas. Black people must be in poor districts. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's stereotyping. And like they had the opportunity to not do that. But yeah, the crunch situation. I hate these people that are just so obsessed with the idea that, you know, the game is going to be perfect and thereby the crunch is justified. You know, the crunch is justified because the game's going to be amazing. It's going to be 10 out of 10. Don't think it is a 10 out of 10. What's the Metacritic at the moment? I think it's 91. Oh. Okay. Metacritic for PC reviews? Here we go, 91. That's the current score for PC reviews, 91. Which, as far as I know, they were striving. CD Projekt Red, as far as I know, was striving to get a high 90s Metacritic score, high 90s review Metacritic score. So I don't know what Metacritic aggregates based on what they aggregate. Which critics are left out, which critics are included. But that may not end up being the case. Okay. But anyway, yeah, the crunch thing, stupid. How many people justify it? No one knows how well any of these controversial themes will be tackled in the game itself. That's an entirely different issue, one to be dissected upon the game's release. The much bigger issue is that 2077 has demonstrated that this new form of populist video game marketing can not only be successful, but it can lead fans to unbreakable bonds with a game they haven't even played yet. Calm the fuck down, fanboys. Would it have been so successful if CDPR were not already equipped? Were CDPR not already equipped with such a uniquely fervent fan base? That's the thing. People were like, The Witcher is so fucking good. CD Projekt Red do such good games because they played The Witcher 3 and they liked it a bit. They thought the story was good or something. And it's like, The Witcher 3 is good, but it's not that good. It's not justifiable for this kind of behavior. It's obscene. Honestly, it reminds me of Ubisoft. Like, whenever there's a Ubisoft game out and I criticize a Ubisoft game, there's always people who just cannot stand the idea that I said something bad about Assassin's Creed. How dare you question Assassin's Creed? How dare you say this game doesn't look that good? How dare you say that Ubisoft sexually abuses its workers and then moves staff around so that they don't, like the Catholic Church with the pedophiles? Anyway, I think you can tell I'm getting tired. I'm fading quick, man. This coffee is not hitting tonight. I didn't hit the gym today. I woke up feeling weird. I woke up feeling like ill, and I woke up late, and I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. I ended up doing my shift, and then I came back. I did a bit of shopping. I had sushi. There's also the part where CDPR doesn't trigger game agreement with consumer unfriendly business model decisions, which endears them to a lot of otherwise. That's true. Yeah, like CDPR have not yet delved into the realm of let's make our game as monetized as humanly possible in a way that is intrinsically broken and doesn't help anyone. You sure you don't mean the Vatican? Ubisoft, the Vatican, what's the difference? They're both based in Europe. EA, just because they made Spore. Who thought Spore was great? Sorry to be mean, but I thought everyone universally agreed Spore was dog shit. Like an incredibly disappointing game all around. What's most depressing about it isn't how loyal CDPR's fan base has been throughout all this controversy, but all the controversy CDPR has deliberately decided to put them through. They might have genuinely meant well with the Mix It Up poster the first time, but to harken it back to it in the cosplay contest, keep joking about the vagina options. The thing about the cosplay thing, like, where is it? The thing about the cosplay thing is it's not even that fucking good. Not gonna lie, sis. Sorry, but the costume's a little bit shit. Sorry to break it to you, it's not that good. It's fucking garbage. Anyway, hey Gorge. These are all active choices, plain racial stereotypes. CDPR has a fan base that would follow them to the ends of the earth, but rather than take those fans somewhere positive and progressive, rather than use their unique position to tackle the rampant discrimination and toxicity in the gaming community, they've played to the lowest common denominator, so basically like right-wing pundits. This is why right-wing pundits get so much traction, why they get so much attention, is because they play to the lowest common denominator. Had many things it wanted to be and not the tech to back it. Spore, definitely. Whatever else you think about it, it's hard to deny that it worked, and that means other games are probably going to copy it in the future, yeah. It's sad because I really wanted to look forward to Cyberpunk 2077, but there is just so much that has gone wrong in this space that I can't look on it with good faith anymore. If I do end up playing the game, it'll be pre-owned, which is virtually impossible because that would have to be a console release, a console copy. So I may need to just like wait until it goes on sale, maybe, I don't know. But I would feel guilty paying at least full price for this game. If it goes on sale, I may give it a go further down the track, much further down the track. I mean, it took me until the start of this year to actually play Witcher 3 to completion. So 2025. We'll call it 2025. I'll play Cyberpunk when it's on sale on GOG for $10. Okay? How about that? When there's only like 48 years between the release date of the game and the title of the game. 48? No, that's not right. 52, sorry. 52. Brother is dead set on getting it, and your friend is interested, but we'll think you'll get it on GOG and share it, split the cost, so it's basically a B title. Might be an idea, yeah. Look forward to it, but temper your expectations and find out tomorrow Arvo after work. Oh, that's right, it's out tomorrow, isn't it? Or at least for us here in Australia, it's out tomorrow. I don't know about the rest of the world. It's at December 10, and that's all the marketing here in Australia, so I assume December 10 is accurate and not... Because it's like December 10 everywhere, which sometimes can mean a game will release here in Australia on the day after, so that it's fair, which is a stupid fucking concept. But anyway. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, I was going to look on Twitter for something really quickly, but I follow. I'm glad I didn't have my game scene on just then, my screen scene on just then. Just a fucking whole ass cheek. Like, Jesus Christ. I was going to look for something on Twitter really quickly. But we'll skip that for now. Anyway. It's hard when games accustom themselves to the future console, but then the game is told the console is far more advanced than they built for. Australia does get fucked. I'm not getting kinky on my stream. We're not doing that. I follow those people because I support my friends, okay? Anyway. Actually, what I was going to do, I was going to go to Twitch. We'll go to Twitch. So we've got a little bit to wrap up. We've got a little bit of time left because I'm not going to end just yet. I might have a look at who's live right now. Not many folks. Well, I mean, Loot's playing Rocket League. Cyrus is playing Overwatch. Who can we go to? Yeah, I'm about done for tonight. I hope this video, this stream has been good. I hope this stream has been good. And if you are watching any of the content that we went through tonight on YouTube, after the fact, after I've edited it, remember, like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Follow me here on Twitch, where this has been recorded, I guess. And I will see you when I'm looking at you. That's not going to be the end of the stream. I'm just going to stop recording now because I have no reason to keep going. Who is Radiant? I don't know who Radiant is. Tier 3 subs are all simps then. All tier 3 subs are simps. Paid $42.99 to subscribe to somebody. Who would? Who would fucking do that? God. Like, what? Think of what you could buy with that money. Jesus Christ. $42.99. Degenerate VR chat streamer. Oh, okay. Well, that would make the most sense. She. Is it she? He or she? Hell, I don't know. I have no clue. I haven't got the foggiest. Like, what, do you expect me to know this shit? I don't expect to know this shit. Oh, fuck. But I need to get on editing some videos. So, thanks for hanging. As you can see right here, this scene here is not going to show up in my YouTube videos. That's just for you guys. That's just for Twitch. But yeah, I'm going to try to finish up the rest of my graphics. I am tired. I'm very tired. Mate. I'm very tired, yeah. You want to know a fun thing that I read recently? Is that women on trans women on hormones can actually get a cycle. Like, I'm not going to bleed down there, but can actually get some of the other symptoms. And I won't lie, I've been feeling kind of crampy around my stomach, which I thought was just I did too much of a core workout yesterday. I don't know now. I'm questioning it. That's a fun thing. Anyway. I think we'll go to Loot Demon tonight. I think we'll raid Loot Demon tonight. Because I was going to play Rocket League with her soon. But right now, I am going to finish editing my next video and then hopefully start on the one after that. But yeah, I am done for now. I am tired. I need sleep. She's going to get mad at us. I hope not to get mad at you. But anyway, if you've missed anything, please remember that you can follow all my socials. My YouTube, my Twitter, my Instagram are probably the best places to find me. Obviously my YouTube, like specifically my YouTube where I'm putting up my content. Trying to get my VODs up as soon as possible and all that sort of stuff. And where can you apply for mod? Well, I mean, I can just give you mod. I can if you're in the Discord server, we can have a discussion about moderation and moderation policies and all that sort of fun stuff. It's been good tonight. The sports thing. We're not doing the sports thing. We are never doing the sports thing. Okay, I'm never having that discussion in my chat. And that is why. Because I dislike the whole trans women in sports discussion. And I dislike the whole sports discussion in general. Just realized my hands get cut off at the top of this billboard. And if I go over here. You see that? Like, I can make contact. But my hands get cut off. Anyway. I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
I'm digging it already.